everybody. Hello. Kiddo? Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going live now, so make sure you shush for me, please, my love. Thank you. Hello. Hello, Pat. How are you this evening? Hello, Maureen, my darling. Hello. We are going to be learning all about the stuff today. We're going to give it another couple of minutes. I know hey, sweetie. I know I came on a little bit later, but we're just going to give it a couple of minutes to let everybody kind of get here, and we'll get ourselves situated. So today, though, we are learning about cannabis, alcohol, and prescription, and recreational drugs. All right. These are the things we are working with today. Hello. Hi, Tori. Wonderful. Okay, so we're still waiting just a couple of minutes, giving everybody a chance to kind of come on in. But we're literally give it like 2 more minutes, and then we're just going to be starting anyway. Okay. This is not very good, so I'm going to move my lamp over here so that we can get a little bit more light. There we go. That is still kind of in the way, isn't it? All right, we'll get this over here then. Okay, it's a little bit darker, but I hope that's okay for everybody, because I didn't want that whole like little mini sun going on in the background there. But couple more minutes. But anywho, are you guys excited, like, to learn something new today? I hope so. It was very, very funny because I was, hi Susan, sweetheart. I was all my life so against any substances, like so against any substances. You know, that whole Nancy Reagan thing where she drummed into everybody like, just say no, and so forth. I took that to like proper heart. And so I thought that literally that if I was going to take anything, I was going to die. Or turn into some like super drug addict or something like that. So I like literally avoided everything like the plague until I became a little bit more enlightened. But there are still some things I don't even touch, and I definitely don't even look at, don't come into my vicinity. But then there's others that I have explored, and they're really, really cool too. So anywho, this is quite big. I may take it off, but we'll see. Alrighty. Oh, this light, my lighting is so shitty. I can't see myself too much, so I'm actually going to put that there. Or is that even worse? Oh, one second. Gotta try to get this right. Okay, we're gonna have to work with that. I know you see these kind of bright lights there, but we're gonna have to work around it. Okay, so we are ready. We are ready to go. Now I've got my notes here, so I'm going to be popping up, looking at the computer every now and then, but I hope you enjoy. So firstly, I'd just like to formally say welcome to the Cannabis, Alcohol, Prescription, and Recreational Drugs, and how they are affecting your spiritual enlightenment and what they are doing to your body. Now, I want to definitely say this, just put a little disclaimer here, that this lesson is not intended to promote the use of any of the said substances. It is strictly for the purpose of educating you on what the substance does to your body as it pertains to the effects on your enlightenment. Okay, I have to put that down there. However, what you do in your own personal time is none of my business, so I can sit here and sip my tea. So take this information for what it is. It is just literally nothing that is not out there anyway. But I am just giving it to you from the enlightenment perspective, because that's one thing I found when I was going through my spiritual enlightenment. I would actually be looking, like I'd hear about some cool stuff and I'd be like, what does that actually do? And it's so difficult to find anything as it pertains to spiritual enlightenment specifically. So hopefully we'll get that done. Oh, hello, Hazel. Hello, my sweet. Okay, so I will be covering the main substances that are consumed by society, okay? So I'm just going to cover a few of the most popular basics, the ones that are most available to people, to the everyday public. So I'm not going to be talking about substances that you have to go to like the Himalayan Alps for or something, or it's like this wild herb that can only be found in the desert in this specific oasis underneath the sea, or like it's not going to be anything like that, okay? So all of these are going to be pretty basic things that you can actually find, or many people get their hands on. And just remember though as well, there are loads of different drugs, different herbs out there. So I want you to take away from this lesson more the principles behind it, rather than, you know, trying to become a doctor by watching this video, okay? So, by watching this lesson. Now I'm going to try to keep on top of comments. Hello, Jennifer, sweetheart. And so I'm gonna kind of go through some bits, and we'll please comment as you are listening to this, as you are learning something new. Please comment, and we're some answers later as well. Okay, and I've just got my notes here. So also what I want you to remember is that, or to remember about any substance that you inhale, inject, dilute, absorb, or consume, is that any and all substances can be abused, okay? There is not one thing on this planet that you cannot, as I said, inhale, inject, dilute, or absorb that, or consume, that cannot be abused. If you had an addiction to oranges and you just ate oranges all day, that is abuse of an orange, right? So let's go through that. I'm going to give you my kind of definition here. We have non-abuse. When do you know you are not abusing a substance, whether that be natural or chemical or whatever it is? Well, basically, when you are not abusing it, it is because you are taking it for a specific purpose or result. And once that purpose or result has been achieved, then you're not using it. Now, don't get me wrong. I know some people are like, well, my purpose is to get totally wasted. That's not a reasonable outcome. That's not a reasonable reason, okay? So bear that in mind. So that is basically if you are trying to counter any sort of mental or physical kind of pain relief. You know, I would take a substance if I wanted to, if my leg hurt or something like that, I may take a substance in order for my pain in my leg to go. But once it's gone, I'm not going to keep going back at it, because that's abuse. Or I'm not going to take a, or abusing, should I say, abusing a substance is when you are basically relieving the pain of your subconscious. I'm so sorry. Kamaya? Yeah? Can you please not be so loud? Sorry. Thank you, baby. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay, so, and I've got some, there we go. Oh, so Susan, you said cannabis is supposed to be good for MS anyway, but not a clue where I could get hold of it. Don't worry, sweetheart, we'll totally get there. Melody, Harolden, thank you very much for coming in as well, my sweets. Okay, so just as another reminder, if you are trying to do the pain relief of the subconscious, that is abuse. And when you are doing pain relief of the subconscious, that is when you know you are doing it to try to get rid of the pain in your heart, but that can only be done by inner work, right? So if it's inner work pain relief that you're trying to do or suppress, then you're abusing it. Okay, so bear that in mind also. Alrighty. So now for those of you who have just joined us, please type your comments in, because we're going to be doing some Q&A and a little bit of a mini read afterwards as well. So please type your comments in there. So now let's go through the actual bits and pieces. Oops, sorry, touch a lot of stuff. So what we have is we have two categories. The first one is natural. Okay, and the second category is chemical. Now, I think what I'm going to do is, just because the natural is so much more interesting, I'm actually going to go through the chemical first, okay? Because I think we need to, let's start with the bad news so we can end off with some good news, and so on and so forth as well. So firstly, chemical drugs. For me, a chemical drug is anything, or it's anything that is man-made, okay? It can be classed as a poison. You can, if it's a chemical, you can overdose. You can overdose on it. Now, don't get me wrong. You can also overdose on some herbs or some specific plants, but we're not going to be covering those plants. Well, technically, I guess we are covering these kinds of plants too. But we are going to, you can, if it's a chemical or if it's something that is harmful or something that is definitely widely abused, you normally can overdose on it. Nancy, you say, I would love to find natural meds for nerve damage. Yes, definitely. I do. And we're going to go through some tonight, actually. So it's going to be good. So chemical, you can overdose of all of the substances you can think of, and just be like, has anybody ever overdosed on this? And if they have, we're going to put it under the chemical category. Now, another, oops, here we go here. Also, not naturally found in your system or in your body. Okay? So again, normally when you are with chemical drugs or chemical herbs or something, these are things that are not found in your body naturally, okay? So it's not as if you are getting a booster for anything or anything like that. This chemical wasn't in your body before, and that's one of the reasons why you can overdose on it in the first place, because your body has to process it, because it's not naturally there. Okay. And lastly as well, this has to processed by man. Okay, so again, another chemical kind of drug out there is one that has to be processed by man, meaning that you don't just go pick it off of a tree. You don't just go pick it out of the ground or anything. It has to go through a process of processing in order to get the desired result. Okay, so let's have a look here then. I hope we're all good with this. Again, you can overdose on it, not naturally found in your body, and it has to be processed by man in order to get the desired results. So that's what we're going to put down as chemical. Now, what are the drugs that we are going through tonight? Well, first we are going through alcohol. Okay, so I'm going to go through each one of these one by one as well. And I'm sorry, I'm going to do a little bit of a striptease here. Sorry, excuse me, it's actually getting like really hot, so I'm like, oh. Alrighty, so the first one we're going to go through is alcohol. Now, what does it actually do to you? This is what it's doing to you in terms of your body, and then I'm going to go through what it's doing to you in terms of a spiritual awakening or spirituality as well. So first, it shuts down your immune and auto response system. Okay, so total shutdown of your immune and your auto response system. So anybody can kind of think of what that is. Now, I know you're all very grown ladies and very grown gentlemen, and you know what booze does to you. But please comment, like, what does that sentence mean to you? What does that sentence mean to you? All right, pop in the comments. It also, or I can also say that it also makes you, it makes you blind. It makes you stupid. It makes you dumb. It makes you dumb, blind, and stupid, right? While slowly destroying your liver as it's processing through your body. Alcohol was never meant for consumption. Okay, that is consumption at the end. Now, don't get me wrong. I know everybody's like, what? Kulipup alcohol wasn't meant for drinking and good times? No, not at all. It was discovered as that's what it was, you know, with the natural fermentation of the fruits falling from the trees. You know, you'd have foragers and travelers find that it was fermented and just be like, woo, and they got a little dizzy off of it. But it was never meant for actual consumption by humans. It is simply the fermentation process for bacteria. It is the point of breaking food down. That it's all for that. It was never ever meant to go into your system in the first place. That is one of the reasons why alcohol is so terrible for you. Why it is a poison, because it was never meant to be consumed in the first place. Okay, mind alterations. Yes. It gave your, Susan, you say it gave my husband's heart problems also. Of course. It's so much. It is a poison. Whenever you put it into your body has to take extra energy away from your system in order to freaking get it out, right? So it causes a lot of turmoil. Now, that's the basis of, you know, what it's doing to your body. It's doing a lot of other stuff, but again, you're not here to become a doctor. You're here to just gain the principles behind it. What is it doing spiritually for you, though? You know what? Sorry, I'm not quite on natural yet, so we're gonna use this side of the board. What it's doing for you spiritually. For one, when they say Jesus had wine, that's a bold-faced lie. Jesus didn't have no wine. Not at all. Not at all. There was no wine. And trust me on this one. I know you may be like, how do you know what Jesus said and what they thought? Trust me. Okay. So spirituality, what is it doing for your spirituality? Nothing. But, gosh, I can't write today. But invite entities or harmful spirits. You know what? No, I can't say harmful spirits. It's just harmful energy. That is something I'm finding that a lot of people, when they say things like, oh, bad spirits, or there's a negative spirit. Spirits are of love and light. Spirits are literally you and I. We're spirits. You know, people who have passed over and they come back to observe, they're spirits. Ghosts, negativity, and so forth, those are entities, and that's just negative energy. So I don't want to say bad spirits, but people throughout the ages and so forth have always associated anything with the ethereal as a bad spirit, or like, you know, negative, or they fear anything that's fearful, they associate that. So there's no bad spirits. However, what alcohol does though is it invites entities to come, and it makes you very, very open. And one of the reasons for that is because, for one, your body is lower in energy because your body is filtering through this poison. But also you have to remember, it shuts down your autoimmune and auto response systems, okay? And when I say it makes you dumb, blind, and stupid, I really do mean that, because it's literally shutting your system down and allowing these entities, because you're open, right? When you have booze, you know, your head is spinning and all that kind of stuff. You have no control because you have no auto response system. right? Your immune system is down. Negative energies can get to you really, really quickly on the physical. But on the ethereal as well, you're just basically going, I am a beacon for negative entities when you consume alcohol. Okay? I know that I have a very, very wonderful student of mine, and when we were going through her awakening process and everything, she was telling me about her, a spirit that, you know, whenever she drank any booze, she would just, oh gosh, this is really terrible. I'm sorry, you can't see a damn thing. I'm gonna try my best to just like, I want the light, but I don't want the shine. That's just too dark. I'm sorry. Sorry guys, we're gonna have to try to make this work the best we can. So anyway, whenever she had alcohol, she was very, very open to possession. Very, very open. And she would always be like, this is really, really weird because I know it's happening. And she did. She did know it's happening. And it's really, it's not cool. It's just not cool. So don't open yourself up to inviting in negative entities because they'll attach to you. Now, why do you think it's called a bottle of spirit? Give me a hard spirit. Why do you think they call it that in the first place? You're attracting all of this stuff. Okay. So that's alcohol for you. Alrighty. Let's go on to the next one. The next one we're going to go through is, and to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure how many individuals have tried this one or have experienced it before. If you have, maybe you want to put down a bit more of your experience, or maybe you don't want to put down your experience. That's okay. Don't worry, I got so much cool stuff for you. It's good. Yes, when I used to drink wine. So Cheryl, you say, when I used to drink wine, I turned into a really different, nasty person. Well, yeah, because you're open. If you ever think that, like, we are all aware of our subconscious and conscious entity programs, and they're terrible, but then there's all these other entities. So of course, yeah, like all of a sudden you switch and you become a different person. Well, shoot, that's because you've left yourself open. That's why these guys are just like, yeah, I'm gonna have some energy. And you become a different person. They physically take over your consciousness, right? That's what was happening with that lovely young lady I was talking about. But other than that, alcohol is doing nothing else. It does nothing else besides kill you slowly. All right. So next one we are going to go through is heroin. And I'm going to do that when I get a different pen that actually works. You have heroin. Okay. Again, I don't know who's done this, but you know, you do still have like opioids and stuff like that you do get in prescription drugs, and that's heroin. Like, yeah, if you've ever, like, all opioids, they're all heroin. Okay, but anyway, so what does it actually do? Well, it numbs your nervous system. Yeah. Oh. Okay, so it numbs your nervous system. It is heroin, and you know when I say things like, oh, it was never meant to be consumed, it was for this, it was for that, I'm not talking about what you find in, oh, sorry, is my video still really blurry? I hope it's not too blurry. I'm so sorry. I have to use my webcam on this. Sorry, I'm just saying that because Cheryl's just said your video is more blurry now. I have to use the webcam, otherwise I can't write and everything's backwards. So I hope you can bear with me, Cheryl, my sweet. I hope you can bear with me. Right, so heroin, it numbs your nervous system, okay? It was meant, oh, sorry, yes, that's what I was explaining. When I say your, oh gosh, where was I going with this? Numbs your nervous system. Yes, that it was never meant for a certain thing. I'm talking about, I'm giving you divine knowledge. You know, so many people want to know, like, oh, God put this here for that, and God put that there for that, and you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't do that. I'm literally telling you what God put what here for, okay? If you don't believe it, check your pendulum. Because when we connect to source truth, that is exactly what we are doing. You are connecting to the prime supreme consciousness. You are connecting to the universal energy, which is source, which is love energy. So if you really want to know what God wants you to put in your body, or what God does or does not, when you connect to source truth, then you'll know. So you can stop being misguided and misled by so much falsities and nastiness that is out there. Okay, anyway, that was my little rant. So heroin is meant for pain relief. All right, it was meant for pain relief, but it was never meant to be abused. Okay, and I'm also going to go for cocaine as well. All right, cocaine. This was, oh, no, an E there. Cocaine. This was never meant for internal use. Okay, it was meant for medicinal aid when treating wounds in the forest with just the leaves. Right? It was medicinal, but only when in its plant form. Okay, so that's the same with cocaine. It was always meant for a medicinal use, but never to be extracted, turned into powder and snorted or injected or inhaled or whatever the hell, however you do it. It was never meant for that. It was always meant to simply, hey, if you cut your leg in the forest, grab a cocaine, like a cocaine leaf, and you know, treat your wound, slap it on, so you can have a little pain relief while you're going. It was never meant for any of this. Never meant for it. So what is it actually doing to you on a spiritual basis? Well, this is what it's doing. It does nothing but leave you open to toxic elements and makes you dumb, deaf, and blind. That is all heroin and cocaine are doing for you. Nothing but leaving you dumb, deaf, and blind and opening up your body to toxic elements. So it screws up your immune system. Or your system. I won't say your immune system specifically, but it screws up your system. And when your system is all screwed up, if you were to be around or exposed to negative or toxic energies or so forth like that, that just gets, it just gets seeped right into you. Seeped right into you. So spiritually, it leaves you very open to negativity, as was before. That and anxiety and fear. It really leaves you open to all of those kinds of things. Now, like I say, I don't think that there's going to be a lot of people who are watching this video who are physically doing these, but you know, some people, you never know, right? And no judgment, by the way, no judgment. We're all here to learn, we're all here to explore, and we're all here to grow. But that's what it's doing for you. So it's not beneficial whatsoever in terms of spiritual enlightenment, if that's the way you wanted to use it. That high you're getting is not high to the ethereal. That's high to the hell, if you want to put it that way. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to go through, and by all means as well, please, if you've got any other comments, then shoot, bring it on in. Bring it on in. We're gonna have a look. Okay. So now we're going to go through prescription. I did per. Okay. Okay, let's prescription and supplements. Okay. Ooh, do we have a comment? Oh, okay. So as it pertains to the prescription drugs, now this is the thing. A lot of people are on prescription drugs right now. I definitely know there are some ladies who are not doing so well at the moment, and you do require your regular prescription drugs. Okay. So when I'm going through this, I want you to understand that I am not encouraging you to not take it if you feel that you need it, but I'm also not encouraging you to continue taking it either. This is more so just a neutral or unbiased letting you know what it's doing, right? And have you just take the information in so you can make your decisions going forward. Basically, that's all I'm trying to say. So, so again, you can take this however you want to, but I personally don't like them. I don't like any form of prescription drug or supplement, whether that be over the counter. So, you know, supplements as in, you know, like protein powders or, you know, vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin B12, and all these kinds of, just like, you know, the multivitamins and stuff. I don't use them and I don't like them. That's me personally. But it's because they mess with your system and are primarily synthetic and harmful to you. So essential minerals and vitamins are tampered with, and you're not gaining anything truly from them. That's why so many people, they are downing loads of prescription drugs or loads of supplements and like literally like the multivitamins, but yet nobody seems to be getting better. Okay? And I want you all to think about that. If prescription drugs was the answer, and they actually did a good job at curing or solving the issue, then why do we continually take them constantly and still get worse? Why do you continually take prescription drugs and nothing gets better? Yes, you may not feel as much pain for this time being, but you don't really get well again. Okay, so now, not to say that no, it never works, but I'm just saying the majority of people, the majority of the population in society, we are, especially in the Western societies, we have a lot of pills, and we are some of the sickest individuals on this planet. We are here in this Western world, and we think we are the pinnacle of health. And then we will look at another individual in a third world country, which they say third world country, or in like the Amazonian rainforest. And you'll see somebody like, think about it, a person in a tribe, in a tribe in the rainforest, they are literally wearing, you know, they don't have, the ones that don't have like the regular clothes that we're wearing, they wear their traditional attire. And we'll look at them and just be like, oh gosh, they poor things, they live off so little. But they are much healthier than you and I. You know why? Because if they don't have processed food, they don't have, they're not eating a bunch of rubbish. They're eating primarily plants and foraging and doing all of that kind of stuff. So they're much healthier. And it's kind of like, oh, thank you, baby. Yeah. My daughter just brought me a cupcake. My 10-year-old daughter made a lovely cupcake for me. Thank you, babes.
The icing is really nice.
That's okay. That's wonderful. Thank you, babe. Sorry about that, you guys. So I just want you to kind of think. Prescription drugs are not always the key. Now, again, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad about your prescription drugs that you are taking. I'm just kind of stating a fact that when you kind of look at the bigger picture, they don't really do anything, and they just are there for disease management and control, but not a cure. So what you're doing is you're constantly putting this synthetic harmful substance in your body to take away some pain, but the cause of the pain is never addressed, and it is never actually cured. So it's to me personally, it's nonsensical. Nancy, you said Big Pharma is greedy to making profit off of it. Exactly. Why? Like you can't have a repeat customer if they're cured. So of course it's disease management. Okay, you say prescription drugs and vitamins are hard on the kidney too. Yes, because you know these minerals and these vitamins. When I say when you're getting vitamin E, how many actual components go into the vitamin E? So if you were to eat an avocado, for example, you would have so much vitamin E and nutrients and all of the different complex compounds of vitamin E. If you were to just buy vitamin E as a supplement, it's only like one of the compounds. So you're missing all of the other stuff that your body needs, but you're taking it thinking like, oh yeah, this is gonna help me. This is gonna help my skin. Not at all. You know, it's gonna help your skin, water, and eat an avocado. You know, if you really want it. So definitely. Nancy, you say we are just conditioned to it. Exactly. Exactly. How many, I want you guys to think about it. When you say you are conditioned to it, you say conditioned, I say programmed. You know, I am a master spellcaster, okay? And I know some people will be like, you cast spells, that's like, what are you, a witch? It's like, no, not at all. But I understand energy, and I understand that the frequency my voice makes and the command it says it gives to my energy as I make it, and what that effect is going to have on you or the people around me or the people I want it to have effect on, right? So I understand what spell casting really is. And so when I see it being done on the population and you guys don't know it's being done, you are then conditioned to it. But really, you are under a spell. And I'll do more videos on spell casting and spells and what they are too. But just think about that. You have a spell on you. You are programmed to believe a certain way and block your mind from exploring other avenues, right? So definitely conditioned. Susan, you say, if I don't take mine, I will be in a wheelchair, but at the same time, not happy taking them, but refuse MS, tablets on top of my pain patches. Now, Susan, all I'm going to say, right, is that we base so much of our illness. And again, I want you to take this for however you want to take it, okay? We base so much of the results. We take a lot of drugs because we base it off of what we've seen or what we've been told, right? Oh, you don't feel well, so what you do is you go to the doctor. You tell the doctor your symptoms, and you trust that they know what they're talking about. So then they make a diagnosis, and they tell you, well, you have this illness based on the tests and the things that because I said so. Now you have it in your mind. You're like, okay, I have this illness because these people told me I have this illness. Okay, so I've got this illness now. So now you then look, or you're then told, well, if you don't take this drug, this is going to happen. This is going to be the consequence. For yourself, Susan, you're going to be in a wheelchair. You know, you're not going to be able to do anything. And to that, I kind of say, well, have we tried changing our diet? Have we tried doing every single thing we can on a natural basis, you know, making sure the right foods are put into our body, making sure that we have the right movement in our body to get our energy going? And then tell me, after I've done all of that, then tell me if I will be in a wheelchair, if I need these drugs. Because at the end of the day, you're basing that opinion, or you're taking that for fact, and you're basing it off of what you've seen. Now, that person who has MS, who is in the wheelchair, you don't know anything about their lifestyle, about their diet. They could be in a wheelchair because they've been pumping their bodies in with alcohol, with meat, with processed foods for all of their life, right? And so, yeah, they have this illness, but because their body was already shutting down and turning to shit in the first place, they're in a wheelchair. So that does not necessarily mean, Susan, that if you stop taking these drugs and start taking care of your body, or start taking care of your body first and let your body decide what it wants. Because once your body is getting healthy, it's going to reject anything that is not good for it, okay? So let your body decide. But I say do that first, because how many, and I'm gonna ask you this, you guys, how many people do you know who are vegan or vegetarian, who meditate, who do their yoga, who take time out for themselves, who connect to spirit, who seek enlightenment? How many of them do you see are very unwell? Really think about it now. When we have an idea of these kinds of people, what we see are people who have, you know, great skin, and they're just like, ooh, they're all zenned out. But I don't see a lot of people like that in wheelchairs. I don't see a lot of people like that in the hospital. I don't see a lot of people like that throwing back a bunch of prescription drugs. And it's because it is a resulting factor of what you are putting in your body. Treat your body right. It is an amazing machine. It will treat you right in return. Now again, take this information in and use it however you will, okay? If you feel that what I'm saying is complete and utter horseshit, and you're just like, no, she has no clue what she's talking about, she's totally unqualified to say this, you know, all of that kind of stuff, then that's fine. I'm not gonna be offended. I know you're not, you're gonna be fine. You don't have to listen to a damn thing I'm saying. All I'm saying is perhaps look at it from a different perspective though. That's all I'm saying when it comes to that. Okay, so Herolden, you have said, I am an example of dropping all meds and my body healing itself. I was on so many meds for multiple reasons, mental, fibromyalgia, dropped it and I can play again. I can socialize again. They just made me worse. It's just a money-making business. It elongates the problem and it doesn't fix it at all. I love you, Herolden, love you. I will say myself, I have a little bit of vertigo. You can see these little patches in my skin. I also have it all over my face. But also I had very severe eczema, very severe allergies, to the point where my asthma was triggered when I was, you know, before I woke up. And that's how I was going to die. I've said it to a few people, but I was set to pass away when I was 34 years old from a massive severe from a massive severe asthma attack. Okay? And I was on so many steroid inhalers, so many allergy pills, shots. I was like, the doctor wanted to pump me through with so many pills. You know, it was just, oh, hydrocortisone cream and everything for my face, for my eczema, throwing this stuff all over my body. And the thing is, when I was becoming more enlightened, my spirit, myself, I was always telling myself, you know, wean yourself off of this. You don't need it. You don't need it. And the thing is, my anxiety at the time was, oh my gosh, if I don't do this, I can't breathe. I literally, my face was a complete red, rashes, bumpy, like, and I mean, like, if you can think eczema all over it, and created so many patches, and literally changed my diet, and instantly my asthma no longer, I had literally 2 weeks and I threw away my inhalers, you know, threw away my inhalers. It took a little bit longer for my skin, but my skin is perfectly fine now. I do not put anything that is unnatural besides some deodorant on my skin, right? And nothing harms me, basically. So again, I've just ranted and raved there a little bit, but just bear that in mind and try looking at it from a different perspective. And it is hard. Okay. Oh, thank you, RK. Yes, I am a master spellcaster, and with that, I can heal. I can manipulate energies as well. Oh, okay. Oh, Maureen, you say, how do you know you were set to die? Well, before I woke up, I was an individual that was going to be taken by the harvest as well. If you haven't watched my harvest video, I definitely recommend doing so. I know in the group Frequency 51, I have it in the announcements. If you're a part of the group, then have a look at the announcements. If you are not part of the group, I have my YouTube channel, which the video is on there, but I'll also repost it too. I should really repost these things. But anyway, I knew I was going to die at 34 because I felt the effects of the harvest period. I felt the negative energy. I had the increasing anxiety over my lungs and my chest closing. It was the premonitions were coming. The feeling of, I'm going to die young. I'm going to die young. And I was preparing for it, you know, getting the life insurance ready, making sure my husband knew what to do after I died, you know, like asking him like, hey, you know where all the insurance documents are, you know where to go and so forth like that. And then when I woke up and I was able to use a pendulum and get connected to source truth, I asked the questions. And it says like, yep, 34, asthma attack. That's what you were set to go as. And my husband was then set to die at 36 as well from cardiac arrest. So, so we woke up and now we are safe, which is very, very nice. Hello, Christine. Hello, my love. Hello, Terry and James. Nice to see you guys. Okay, so that is what we're kind of looking at here. And I'm sorry, I kind of totally went off track there. But again, let's just try to change our perspective on the way we look at prescription drugs, supplements, and so forth. Now, that was prescription drugs. I'm sorry, I'm not really writing too much because I'm talking too much. But supplements. And I'll say this because you guys, if you haven't seen Lip and I's twin flame video, because we did that earlier, my hubby, he's not like whoa, huge, but he's got a chest on him, you know, like he goes to the, well, he went to the gym anyway before we discovered yoga and cool natural stuff. But anyway, so he was always the one going to the gym, pumping iron. You know, he got trapped in the whole supplements crap too. You know, he was getting protein powders, you know, like energy boosters, this and that kind of stuff, and didn't need any of it. It turns out that there's so many things in these supplements, and this is more so for the people who are taking protein supplements as well. There's so many things in those that you don't know. You believe that just because it says so, it gives you an ingredients list on the label, that is what is in there. I don't know how many of you have been in business before or worked for Fortune 500 companies or large companies that produce a lot of stuff. Now, myself, before I awoke to who I was, I worked for a few Fortune 500 companies and I was in some pretty powerful positions. And what I definitely know is that a company will always, and I mean always, push the boundaries to get away with whatever they can get away with. So it's kind of like, I'm going to do this until I get caught. And if I get caught, I'll pay a fine and I'll still find a way to worm my way out of it, right? And I tell you, just because it's on the label doesn't mean that's what you are consuming, okay? There is so much chemicals, there is so much fillers, there is so much shit in those supplements that are just downright disgusting for your body. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, oh, well, Kulipup, though. I get the natural vegan protein supplements. It's made out of kale and you know, only plant-based nutrition, so that must be good. What kind of supplements do you think I'm talking about right now? You know, when we were awakening, we only got the expensive, high-priced vegan, you know, where we would check the label and make sure everything was like, that's on point. Is that stuff that is still shitty for you? It is those kinds of things that are so full with just crap, and it clogs up your system. It throws you off balance. It throws your system off balance, because you've got to remember your body is this amazing, amazing machine that can self-heal. It can feel things. It is like it is the ultimate vehicle to experience life in. And as it has been designed, it is also self-healing. Now, if you're throwing in a bunch of shit, and I'm sorry, my language is going to get a little something. If you are throwing in a bunch of rubbish in your body and you are altering the way your system is working, it's not good for you. You have to let your system work. you put the right foods in it, you give it a little exercise, and you live in love and light. And that's exactly the way you're supposed to be. And everything works. Promise you, there's not one person that if you go down this road that you will find that you will still be ill. Not one person will find this. It is the consequence. Just like going to McDonald's every single day, the consequence is that you are going to gain weight, that your body is going to stop functioning, your pineal gland is going to be totally calcified, and you're going to get very, very sick. That is the result of eating McDonald's every day. The result of eating healthy and being in a good active lifestyle is only health and is only happiness. So again, think about that. Okay, so wonderful. Oh, Catherine, you said, that was exactly what it was like working at Good Life, right? Good Life Fitness, I'm assuming that you were talking about, right? It's all a bunch of hog shit, such shit. Anyway, so now we went through the chemical. We went through the chemical. If I have not spoken about some chemicals that you are more familiar with, please pop them in the comments. And I'm more than happy to go through those as well. Now though, let's go with the other stuff. Let's go with the natural. Why do my pens just not want to work today? Okay, so what do I actually classify as a natural kind of substance? Well, and these are the ones that I'm going to be speaking about today. I'm not speaking about a load of them, but I'm just going to be speaking about these today. So those of you who are just like, what kind of pain relief can I have and everything, then this is now the time for you. All right. So natural is where the main chemical compound are naturally found in your body. Okay? Now, this is not with all herbs. This is not with all plants or all things that grow naturally. This is just basically the ones that I'm speaking about today. But the ones I'm speaking about today, all of the chemicals that are within the substances are all naturally found within your body. So I want you to think, I'm going to go through cannabis in a second. You have what we call cannabinoids in your system. They are here right now. You may not have had any cannabis whatsoever. You have cannabinoids in your system right now. They are a very, very important part of the functioning of your body and your system. Okay? So bear that in mind. We're going to go through that in a second. Now, you cannot overdose, even if you try. Okay, so these substances I'm going to be talking about, you cannot overdose on them, even if you were to physically try it. Even if you were just like, you know what, I'm going to experiment, I'm going to do it. You can't. You can't, because these substances, it does not matter. They will stop. You will be stopped before you could even dream of getting to the point of overdose. And you'd have to have like so very much, like fill half of your room with it and consume that within 30 minutes. You can't do it. It's just physically impossible. So you cannot overdose. And also with this natural, there's no long term negative side effects. Okay. So I want you to think about that. Again, so we've got in this natural kind of category, we have these substances that are already naturally found in your body. You're simply giving it a top up. You cannot overdose on it, even if you were to try to on purpose, and there's no long-term negative side effects. So meaning you can have this all day long, well, hopefully not all day long, every day, but you could have it every single day and not be any worse off, and if anything, many people are even better off, right? So This is what we are doing within this natural category. Now, if you are looking for alternate herbs or medicinal, naturally found substances, if you literally just be like, you know what, it has to be this, it has to be this, and it has to be this, then you cannot go wrong. Because again, there's like so many different kinds, but I'm just going to be covering 3 main ones tonight. Okay, so just take that away as a principle as to how you are going to produce or approach natural substances. Okay. All right, so first one we are going to go through is we're actually going to go through cannabis, of course. Now, if you've noticed, I only call it cannabis. You will not hear me calling it marijuana or marijuana or dope or anything like that, because those are names of prejudice towards this plant. This plant has always and forever been cannabis. The only reason why people call it marijuana is because the US government took 2 Spanish names, Mary and Juan, and put them together to make marijuana so that it could pass legislation against this miraculous plant. So what does cannabis, what is it actually doing in your physical body? Well, depending on which type of cannabis you are using, whether that be sativa or whether that be indica, but what it's doing is it is giving you a bolster of your cannabinoids. Okay, I may not have spelled that correctly because there's like cannabinol, blah, blah, blah. Lip knows all about it. He's just like, oh, this, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm done from that point. But cannabinoids, it bolsters your cannabinoids, okay? Because there's ones for sleep, there's ones for pain, there's ones to help regulate you, right? That's what it does there. It also promotes, and through this extra bolster of cannabinoids, it promotes balance. Okay? It balances out your energies. Okay? It really, really does. If you find that you are too low, it's going to bring you up. Okay? It's going to make you feel just like, life's not so shit. Right? If you are way too high, for example, people like myself, when I say way too high, I mean just like we are way too in our head. We are way too busy, too much, just too much going. You can have some cannabis and it's going to, again, balance you, to slow you down a little bit so you can enjoy the now moment and kind of move on from there, right? So really, really important. And we'll have a look here. Okay. Hazel, is LSD within the chemical category? Yes, it is. It's within the chemical category. Okay, because you can totally overdose on that sucker. Maureen, you say, I have known heavy cannabis. Some are burnout, some are not. I wonder why. Oh, so heavy cannabis users. Well, that comes in with the abuse kind of thing, right? I want you to kind of remember, everything can be abused. So can cannabis, so can these natural ones. You can't overdose on it, which is good, but you can abuse it. Just like you can abuse anything. Just the same way you can have 1 glass of wine and still be functional, but if you have 3 bottles of wine, you're going to be a little bit screwed up. Same thing with cannabis. You can have one split, one joint, one of them, and be perfectly fine. But if you have 10, you're going to be knocked out, right? So it's if people are abusing it, trying to save their self-conscious, their subconscious, trying to medicate their subconscious. So yeah, some will drop out like that. But I want you guys to think, you know, cannabis, it has such a bad name attached to it. I want you to think, if there was any plant sent here by God, sent here by the divine, sent here by source of creation altogether, that will do anything and everything, this is that plant. This is that plant. Now I know, because Lip, my beloved Lip, he is very, very, very in tune with, again, plants and herbs and medicinal kind of bits and pieces. You know, he's just like, we extract wild lettuce, you know, for kind of things like that. So he's really, really good with that stuff. And I know he's definitely going to want to do a video all about cannabis as well, because I'm telling you, it is literally the only, if you could not have any other plant whatsoever, that's fine. But you're going to want this one. You're going to want this one. Anyway, so bolsters your cannabinoids, equals balance. It increases or immunity. So it, like, if you are sick, that's why people who are going through cancer patients, they have, they are told to take cannabis because it literally promotes healing. They wanted to tell you that it doesn't cure cancer, but it does. If you are literally doing the right thing with your body, and I mean, like, if you are physically stopping with the meat and you're on the process and you just found out you have cancer, literally just take care of your body and have a little bit of weed. It's going to help really excel the process a lot longer and really respond very, very well to your body and your immune system and your cannabinoids and all of these kinds of things. So really, really, really good for that. Now, there's so much other things it does too. I'm not gonna lie, but the list is like massively long as to what this amazing plant can actually do. So I'm going to recommend that everybody kind of, like, if you are interested, go and have a look into it even more. Okay. So if it increases your immunity, it also, it's of course a healing plant. It's healing, but in not only the physical, but also the mental. Okay. How many people have, in terms of the mental, you know, like, just think about it, how many people have literally quit smoking because they went from smoking to cannabis, right? So they've quit smoking off cigarettes, I mean. How many people who were alcoholics, is switching from alcohol to cannabis? Because if you are trying to get that woozy feeling in your head, you can get it. But if you've got the choice, right? If you've got, okay, I want to have booze because I want to get loose and I want to feel like so nice and relaxed and cool and calm and everything. But the thing is, you get that result with alcohol, but you're killing yourself on the inside. It's causing destruction. Versus you can get the same result with cannabis. You can feel a little woozy and you know, feel like, yeah, this is cool. However, all it's doing is, whilst you are feeling nice and woo, you are healing. You're healing. Now, if you don't want to have the psychedelic kind of, not psychedelic, the high effect. If you're kind of an individual who's like, no, I don't want to be high. I don't like the feeling of being high. Then eat the plant raw. Put it in your salad. Get the leaves. It is an amazing plant for your immune system. It is an amazing plant to balance you out. It is an amazing plant for healing. Okay? There is not one part of this wonderful plant that you cannot use to the betterment of your own self. All right? Like, literally, eat it raw. Pop it in some salad. Juice it. Put it in a smoothie. How many people rely on this plant in order just to keep their immune system going? People who have severe autoimmune disorders and so forth like that, and diseases. It's an amazing plant. So Nancy, you were asking, oh, and I'll definitely tell you the difference. Nancy, you were asking, hey, what can I use for pain relief? And I'm going to say cannabis. There is no negative side effect. You will literally have this, feel great, and you can, and that's it. And your body will repair and you will feel amazing. Okay? Have some cannabis. All right? Wonderful for pain. Maureen, you've asked, how do you tell the difference in sativa and indica? Well, that is easy. Okay? An indica is going to have really thick leaves. Okay? It's going to be really, really thick. Okay, this is clearly a really bad drawing. Okay? So we're going to do that, and it's going to have more over there too. But it's going to have really, really thick leaves. All right? That is a terrible drawing. Wow, I'm looking over there. I'm like, wow, that's horrible. So I apologize. So this is, oops. This is an indica. Now, indicas, and just because we are on the subject, indicas are the most widely used form of cannabis right now, but it is a nighttime. Indica should only be used, and this is where we're talking about the abuse of drugs as well, or substances. Because when we are taking, because this is the thing, right? And I want you to kind of, I'm going to do like a little bit of a Kulipup rant right now. But if you think the government, right, doesn't want you to have cannabis in the first place, because again, it promotes so much balance, it promotes so much health and immunity, that if they were to really allow this to be completely and utterly legal, with and I'm not even talking about legal, it should be neither legal or illegal. It is just simply a herb. It should be about as illegal as lettuce, right? Because it's same thing. Like it's anyway, because it's not dangerous or harmful in any way. Now, but they can't do that because people are having it anyway, because they're going, screw you. I don't really care whether you want to make it legal or illegal. I am going to still consume it because it makes me feel wonderful. It helps me. It heals me. It does so much for me. So what happens then is they flooded the market with indica. Indica is a type of cannabis that is meant for knocking you the hell out. Okay? It's meant to be taken if you are seriously in pain. Right? If you are in serious pain, that's when you take an indica. Because that is just, you're telling your body, look, no, I don't want to be conscious right now. Just let me go to sleep and I'm going to be okay. All right? That's basically what an indica is for. However, what they're doing is, and you're, again, only supposed to take it at night because you're supposed to be sleeping. Call it NyQuil. It's like NyQuil, but works, right? And it's really good for you. But you're not supposed to have this during the day. Because if you have it during the day, it's going to make it so that you're not functional. It's meant to put you to sleep. Okay? You don't take sleeping pills at 9 a.m. And Maureen, you were saying that, you know, you don't know why some people are, you know, total just bums dropping out and some people are fine. Well, a lot of the time, if you are heavily using indica during the day, it's going to make you not functional. Because again, it's like taking sleeping pills during the day. It's not meant for this reason. Okay? So that's how you have an indica. Now a sativa, this is what I'm going to recommend, or this is what I would say in terms of just having information out there, which is a good way to go. A sativa, the leaves are much thinner. Okay? Again, I'm really right now, so I'm really sorry. So this is a sativa. And this is a daytime plant. If you are not in serious pain and you don't need to sleep, then this is the one that you're going to want to go for. This is also much harder to find because, like I was saying, the government wants you to be on indica during the day so that you're not functional, so that you're too tired, so that you are literally just like, oh, I can't do anything, right? So they promote indica. If they can't get people to stop taking this and bettering themselves, they then will promote indica. But really what you should be having is a sativa daytime. Okay? Now what is a daytime sativa going to do to you? Well, a lot of the times, like I say, it balances you. It brings you right up. you can use it in so many different ways. I know for my own personal kind of thing, it helps me when I'm trying to exercise. It kind of gives you the feeling of, you know, when you're about to go out and you're about to exercise and you're just like, I can't be bothered. I don't want to do this. I am tired and I don't want to. If you were to have a little bit of cannabis before, sativa cannabis before your workout, you will find that as you start feeling really good and you've got a lot of energy. And you're like, woo, like check out my yoga, you know, and it becomes really enjoyable. It takes away a little bit of that negativity that you would have had going like, oh, I don't want to do it. And it bolsters you back up again, right? So sativa is wonderful. Sativa, you can also function, your brain can function perfectly well on a sativa, right? Like, and I really mean it, you can function perfectly well if you're not abusing it. Because a lot of people will ingest, inhale, vaporize this plant in order to get really high. Now, if you can get high with a sativa, don't get me wrong. But why? You have to be, if you're doing it, you take it with a purpose. You know, you want to have a purposeful reason why you are consuming any substance. And for me, again, if I needed that pick-me-up to go to the gym, I'd have a little bit of my sativa, and I'd walk to the gym, I'd have a fabulous workout, and I'm cool. And then I wouldn't need anything more, unless maybe I did. Maybe I wanted to get really creative. Sometimes sativa, it will open up your mind. And that's something that will happen in terms of a spiritual side. It's amazing. It connects you more. If you look at ancient hieroglyphs and photos of just the history of places in the world, whether you be in Egypt, in China, in India, I don't know if they have it in Australia, but anyway, you know, if you look into these places and you look into the ancient bits, you have literally them holding up cannabis leaves because it is so medicinal and it is so there, and it's been connected to your third eye. I know personally, when I have cannabis, I'm very, very open. And I'm not trying to say, I want you guys to understand as well, when I say I have it and I'm really open, I don't get the kind of like, oh my gosh, this is so killer. I don't get that kind of bit, because I'm already really high. So if I, like, just naturally with my energy and with my thought process, so if I have cannabis, normally it just kind of brings me down so I can relax and so I can giggle at stupid things. Otherwise, I don't giggle at stupid things because I'm just like, nope, that is illogical and that does not make sense. Good day. It helps a little bit in that sense in terms of balancing me out and bringing me down a little bit. But anywho, let me read some comments. Maureen says, "Lol, you want to send some seeds? I want to eat it." Oh gosh, yes, eating the seeds. Thank you, Maureen. Eating the raw seeds is wonderful. So it packs so much nutrients. You cannot believe it's absolutely fantastic. Okay. Or Kay, you've asked, how much do we eat? As much as you want. Eat as much of these leaves as you want in your salad or in anything like that. You cannot, it is one of those things where it's just wonderful, right? It's like going, you know what? How much yoga can I have today? You can have a decent amount of yoga. You know, you could do that. You know, like how many fresh fruits and vegetables can I have today? You can have a decent amount. Same with this. Incorporate it into your diet. We normally just grabbed a handful and just put it on a salad, really. So once or twice a day, and that was about it. Now, okay, you've asked, will sativa help a person to have less brain fog, be more alert and smarter? It totally depends. It totally depends. Now, if you are getting a strain, because you have to think there are so many different, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of different types of plant or species of cannabis, and each one of them responds differently to your body. Now, I will give you my personal thing. My husband and I, we have our own plants because we use our own energy to grow our own, right? And when we do so, mind you, again, master spellcaster here, so we manipulate a lot of things. We will get a seed, and we will say, or we'll say to it what we want it to do. So I will tell a seed, I want you to make me feel very reflective. I want you to make me feel energetic, clear, and open-minded and happy. And then we'll pop the seed in the ground and we put it outside and we just let nature take hold. It rains, the sun, and on a dry day, we'll just give it a little extra water, right? And then in just a couple months' time, we take it out and I get what I wanted. I have a plant that makes me feel very inquisitive, very deep, and very connected and very open. So read the descriptions as well when you're either looking for seeds. I always recommend, if you do want to grow your own cannabis plant, or to be honest, whether you want to grow your own of anything, whether that be vegetables, whether that be herbs, whether it is medicinal cannabis or anything like that, growing it yourself, you physically are infusing your own energy into this plant. So it is going to resonate the best with you. So I'll just put that in there. When you grow your own food, you grow it with your own energy, so that when you consume that food at a later date, when it is ready, it provides you with the utmost best vibrational resonation, the frequency, because it's you, it's already you. So you are giving your energy and it is simply being returned to you, and you feel damn good. I'll tell you that much. There's not a vegetable that I haven't grown myself, or cannabis that I haven't grown myself, that I did not enjoy much, much better than ever purchasing it elsewhere, right? And plus, when you grow it yourself, you have so much abundance. People are always asking for abundance. They're always asking for, they always don't have enough of this or that and anything. And I'm like, literally, when you do it yourself and stop asking for, for somebody to supply it for you, you are in abundance. You are in such abundance, and it's wonderful. Okay. How young is too young for cannabis? Very, very good question, Roldan. Very good question. Technically, there is no age. And I know you guys are going to be like, no, you can't give kids this or anything. But it depends. My children eat cannabis leaves in their salad because it bolsters their immune system. It's eating it raw is absolutely wonderful. If my daughter is going through, or if I'm going through menstrual cramps or something like that, my daughter's 10, she's not menstruating. But if we were doing that, we would use a tincture, which is the physical extract, and it has no sort of getting you high. It has no psychoactive properties in it at that point. It is just the medicinal part. So yeah, I'm like, children, if you can get the leaves or the raw plant within them, that's wonderful. Now, how young is it for them to actually be, getting the high off of it? Well, I think you have to be at least a teenager for that, personally. Now, technically, don't get me wrong, if you had a 12-year-old who got high, it's not going to do anything to them. They're not going to be in a worse off state. However, when kids are young, they are developing. And if they are starting it at a very young age, for one, I'd want to know why they need balance in their life at that point, because you'd think that they would already be balanced. But I know that social programming and so forth has forced our children to take on a lot of adult issues when they really shouldn't be taking on adult issues. But anywho, I'm going to say, I would say 15 and above, all right? So if you're a parent and you catch your 15-year-old smoking some weed, I wouldn't trip at all. Normally, all I'd want to know is like, hey, where are you getting it? And I would rather you grow your own plant versus getting it anywhere else, right? Because that's another thing, especially in America, they poison that stuff. You want to go to the government to go get your cannabis. Most likely they've grown it with so many harsh chemicals and poisons, Monsanto kind of crap, that if you have this cannabis, it's not going to heal you, it's going to kill you. But that's not the cannabis's fault, that's just how it's grown. Like if you grow a tomato using toxic goo, you're going to have a pretty toxic tomato, right? Same thing with the cannabis. They're pumping it full with so much crap and chemical and rubbish to cause you to get sick, because they know if they release this and we're like, oh, people, please grow your own cannabis, or it's totally normal, they would literally shut that shit down really quick, because too many people would be healed too fast. Big pharma would collapse, you know, those kind of things. So they wanted, they're like, yeah, we're going to legalize it. But wait, because we have to screw around with the plant so much and get so much toxic chemical pumped into it, so that when we do release it as legal to the population, they all take it and get sick. So anyway, I can ramble on about that for a long time. Okay, so what do we got? So where does one get the seeds, and are we allowed to grow it? Now this is something I would say, which is, I am an anarchist, okay? And what that means is I'm not an anarchist in terms of like sons of anarchy, you know, like I go around and all I want is like total anarchy. Not at all. Being a true anarchist just means that you walk within your own righteous path and you do not let anybody govern you, or you know, you are just you entirely, and you don't give a crap about what anybody thinks and what anybody says, and you live in love and you live in light and you live without harming anybody else, but you are just standing up for yourself and your own rights. I am an anarchist. So when you say, where does one get the seeds and are we allowed to grow it? Well, personally, I would just look online. There's plenty of places. There is plenty of places that you can go get seeds. Are you allowed to grow it? To that I say, I don't give a shit. It's my own personal space. I'm not a bad person. I do not harm anybody. So if I want to stick a plant outside on my deck, I will stick a plant outside on my deck, and I don't give a rat's ass what anybody says about it. It's there for my own health, my own personal benefit. It is there for my own enlightenment. It is there for my own use. I don't give it to anybody. I don't sell it to anybody. I put a plant out on my deck and I grow it and I consume it. Yeah, so you can choose however you'd like to take that, my love. I don't know where you are located, and if you do follow the laws of mankind, I do not follow the laws of mankind. I follow the natural law of the universe. That is what I follow. And by the way, if you haven't watched that seminar by Mark Passio that I posted on the group about natural law, I know it's long, but watch it. It's very, very important and very, very informative as well. So I'll let you have a look at that one. Herolden, you say, I was thinking to let my future kids consume it. Yes. Yes. Definitely. Definitely. There is nothing wrong with this. When there is no psychoactive properties or psychedelic properties that go along with it and you're not getting high, all you're getting is immunity. So please, please, definitely. Definitely. Okay. Susan, but in the UK, we can't get the seeds or plant. Oh, Susan. Susan. I swear, the UK is the first place you can get seeds in the plant. My dear, you're just not looking in the right places. But you can really get it in the UK. Definitely. Definitely. I think you can even order from Amsterdam if you wanted to. There's nothing but like about 20 minutes of Google searching that will literally give you what you need. All right, Susan, my love. So definitely don't think that you can't get it anywhere. Or Kay, you said, we're going to legalize it, but it's going to make you sick. That's their plan. That's exactly, yep, exactly what was said there. Definitely. So anything the government wants to give you in terms of cannabis, don't take it. And I'll say this. One of my very, very best friends, she suffers from a lot of health problems, her back, her this, her that. She suffers from a lot of problems. And trust me, I'm like, just go vegan, vegetarian, and, you know, repair your body. But she's also very, very stubborn. And I love her to pieces, but she's very stubborn. She would get government-issued cannabis, all right? Because her doctor's just like, hey, you need this, you're in a lot of pain and so forth. And but she's just like, I don't know how to do this and everything. So we're like, you know what, give it to us and we will roll, because she smokes cigarettes, right? So we're like, we'll roll it into some cigarettes for you. Now, so we grounded it up and everything like that. And because I do like to smoke it because I think it's more oh, my hands are filthy. I can control it more versus edibles or tinctures and so forth, because I don't like a lot too much too soon or all day or anything like that. So I like to control it. So anyway, so we grounded it up, and the keef, or the very fine little powder we had at the bottom, and we're just like, oh, well, you know what? Let's sprinkle this on some stuff and let's see what it's like. And we tried it, and I tell you, we were so phenomenally sick. Lip Up and I were just like, we had a little bit of it, and we're just like, this is disgusting and foul. And I was telling my friend, I'm like, you gotta get off of this stuff. Like, it's of course her decision and her choice as to where she wants to go and so forth. But I'm like, you gotta get off of this stuff because it's absolutely terrible. You know, grow it on our deck as well. Like, we try it. But anyway. So there we go. Susan, yes, it's not something you've shot for before. Don't worry. I know this. But once you find it, you're just be like, wow, it's everywhere. It's like Ann Summers. You never go into Ann Summers whatsoever, but then you go in there and you're like, wow, this is an actual store. There's more of these, and then you see them everywhere, right? So it's kind of like that. Okay. Okay, you say, I will do a Google search. I'm in Canada and just wondering if you would get flagged that I ordered seeds. You know what, Orkay? You are in Canada. I'm also in Canada. PM me. Okay? Not P on me, but PM me. Send me a message. Anybody who is looking for further information for your own development to do with what you want in your own time, PM me, and we'll see I'll see what other information that I have that may help you understand the decisions that you are making. Anyway, okay. But either way, what you want to do is, if you are doing cannabis, you want to ensure that it is a sativa daytime cannabis. You will get the most out of this. You do not need an indica unless you are in severe pain, okay? Or if you are an insomniac and you really need to sleep, okay? But you don't want to be doing an indica during the day. You want to be doing sativa daytime, okay? So that's what we have for cannabis. I know I went much longer on that than I actually intended to, but that's what we got anyway. And Lip Up and I will come back and we will do a, because I know he has so much more information out there. He's so much more knowledgeable about it. So I know he's going to help a little bit more on that one. Okay, so what are we doing next? And if I didn't mention it, yay, Catherine, you're in Canada too, wonderful. If I didn't mention it before, as well in regards to the cannabis and the spirituality there, because I know I got there, it does open you up to your spirituality and to the communication with your spirit. It does not attract to you negative energies or negative. It's not like alcohol that it attracts negativity to you, because it is one that brings you up. It brings your vibration up. Okay, so that's and when you grow it yourself and you infuse your own energy into it and you return your energy back, you actually get a frequency upgrade. You get a frequency increase because your energy is now being returned back to you. So it's crazy, because whenever I have a little bit of my own cannabis, my ears ring like crazy. And I know my name's gotten an extra letter or two on it at that point. And then my mind's opened up to so many more things. I'm like, this is interesting. So try it. Anyway, or don't try it. Try it, don't try it. Take this as information. All right. So let's have a look. Oh, Orkay, you said, what is your group's name? It is Frequency 51. Frequency 51. And if you go onto my profile and you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see a link to it, because I will repost it every now and then just for people who are new to, of course, have a look and tap into that. So yeah, Frequency 51. All right. So Susan, you say, so I would need day and night. Yes, Susan, for you right now, because you do have MS, I would say definitely get an indica for nighttime. So you want to use that 10 p.m. and afterwards. And during the day, you're going to want your daytime. And you're going to feel amazing. How many people have I spoken to? And I've given them my opinion, and they've done whatever they want with that in their own time. But when I see them a few weeks later, they tell me, I don't know what I would have done without a sativa. I don't know how I was without it before, and how much better they feel and how much more uplifted they feel. So, so yes, people doing their own thing in their own time. That is what they've reported back to me. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. And I promise you guys, I'm not going to try to make this super long. I know I've already gotten you down here for like an hour and a half already. And we are going to do a mini reading afterwards. Okay, if you guys are still like awake in here and wanting to. Alrighty, so next one we are going to do is we are going to do mushrooms. Okay, this is specifically psilocybin mushrooms, not just any other kind of mushrooms, but psilocybin mushrooms. Now, and I will, if you are wondering, okay. I always get the spelling of this wrong, so I'm sorry. Yes, it's psilocybin. Okay. So you have psilocybin shrooms or mushrooms. Now, if you have had mushrooms before, I am not going to lie. Oh, Catherine, yes, you personally use it for anxiety when you lack motivation and creativity. Yeah, that's a wonderful way. I'm assuming we're still talking about cannabis at that point. So that's wonderful. Why not? It's brilliant. But definitely go for a sativa. Sativa all the way, my sweet. Okay, so psilocybin mushrooms. What is it actually doing to your body? Well, the psilocybin in the mushroom it's if you think of an actual psychedelic mushroom, they come in so many different shapes and sizes. I will very much so recommend that if you are planning on doing things in your spare time that associate with psilocybin, that you do go and make sure you are getting it from a good source. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to go out into the field and just be like, oh, a mushroom, I think this one is a magic one, and eat it. Because there's there's many people who poison themselves that way. There's a lot of poisonous mushrooms. It is a fungus, okay? So you have to be wary of that. So please, if you are going to do this one, make sure you are going in the right kind of place with it. Now, what is the psilocybin mushroom actually doing? Now, what it's doing to your body, it literally temporarily increases your vibrational period, your vibration. The psilocybin is a psychedelic. It is a psychoactive chemical, and it literally propels you in terms of vibration, and it opens up your pineal gland. It's like it almost, for a moment there, it will shake your pineal gland so much into functioning, if that makes sense, if your pineal gland is like calcified over. And it really connects you to the astral and ethereal planes. It does, on a very short-term, temporary kind of basis. Now, psilocybin mushrooms have been used, it's used in very many different countries. I believe Australia, they're it's more commonly used as well. But it is used to treat people who are going through depression and who are really disconnected from their hearts, from their true selves. Okay, it is a substance that can really help with literally inner work and discovering who you are. Don't get me wrong, if you are full of negativity, like I say, this plant, this fungus, literally propels your frequency. Now, if you are, or amplifies it as well, temporarily. So I want you to think, if you are an individual who is plagued with negativity, okay, if you are just literally so full of hurt, of pain, of everything, and you are trying to take this in order to escape, and you haven't really, and you're not in a good place, it's going to amplify whatever is inside you. Okay? So that's why we're just like, hey, if love is inside you, if love is on your heart, or maybe healing is on your heart, the intent of your mind is to heal, then you can take this psilocybin and you're going to have a better experience. You know, you're going to feel a little bit more euphoric, a little bit more like, no, that's really cool, a little bit more in touch with yourself, in touch with nature. Because with your frequency just kind of going up really quickly, you start to harmonize more with the frequency of love. And that's what cannabis does too, by the way. But it's just more gentle as it's doing it. The mushrooms kind of propel you to be like, if you're lower frequency, it's kind of like low, 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 love, right? And it can be really intense. However, like I say though, if you're swimming in negativity, and you're simply just trying to escape this negativity, and you're just filled with it, then you're going to take it and it's going to be amplified. You're going to have a really, really bad experience, or a bad trip, as people would call it. And it's not going to be very fun at all. Now, the psilocybin, as it is breaking down in your stomach, it is your stomach acids that cause the release of the psilocybin. It can make you feel nauseous. Okay, so that is a short-term side effect. It can make you feel nauseous. You may even throw up. However, what I will say to you with this is that if you do feel nauseous and you want to throw up, what you need to do, it's because your energy has just been propelled. So to stop you feeling nauseous because of all this extra energy going through you, you need to ground yourself so that the energy can flow through you and back to the earth. Okay, so take your shoes off and go stand outside in nature. Get away from as many man-made things as you possibly can. And you will find that when you can return this excess energy that you've just gained in, when you can put your feet on the ground, on the earth, and you can ground and let it flow through you again, you don't feel very sick. Well, you may feel a little nauseous, but you feel so much better. So much better. Like so much better, okay? But I say that just because so many people, if you're going to go do some research on this a little later, you'll find that so many people are always like, oh yeah, get a bowl, get a bucket or whatever, because you're going to be sick. And I'm like, just go stick your feet in the ground, you know, return the energy, and you'll feel better. And that's why a lot of people, when they are doing these mushrooms, they say go out in nature, go and explore, because it literally connects you to there. So yeah, so it's again used to help with depression, because again, it connects you more to yourself. If I can give you my own personal opinion on it, because I was never like, again, Nancy Reagan kind of thing, don't do drugs. I was terrified of all of these things as I was growing up and I was getting older. And when I became into myself, so I'm just giving you my personal experience. I am not telling you to go do anything, all right? Just giving you my personal experience. But as I was awakening, as I was about, where was I? I was at about 15% of my consciousness. That was within my vessel. Only 15% of my spirit was in my vessel. And I was telling myself, try shrooms. Just try it. Because what it did is, when I had some, and I took the dosage that was told to me to take by myself, I took it and it propelled me to becoming over 50% of my, I then was in 85% of my consciousness. So if you've ever heard of that, or you know, Lucy, that movie Lucy, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to tell you that you're going to be able to, like, you know, shape shift your hand or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But if you can think of going from 15% consciousness level all the way up to like 85%, in one go, my eyes were totally opened. At that point, when I did this, I knew who I was, I knew my name, and I could literally understand the energy around me. My husband and I we went for a walk. We went for a walk. We went to our local nature area, and we walked around, and there's this lovely little lake that's by there. And I was so very much in my crown and in my being and in who I was and knowing who I was that I automatically commanded the energy around me. I went and I stood next to the lake. And what happened was, if this is Kulipup here, we're just like curly hair, curly hair, curly hair. This is me, and I'm standing up here, and this is the lake, and this is the shore. Okay, we'll put some rocks here, and so forth, some rocks here. Okay, but this is all water. Now this is what happened. Fish came. Because when I went down there, I was thinking about the fish, and I was just thinking about nature, and I was looking at everything, and within myself, within my crown. Because I want you to understand, in no way was I high, like how you would get with cannabis, you know, like woo, nothing like that. If anything, it propelled me higher into my own heart, into my own self. So I was perfectly legible. The way I'm speaking to you now is the way I was then. I came out of my 15% consciousness level, and I spoke as who I am. I spoke as the teacher I am. I spoke as the consciousness I am, and who I truly am. Bar this vessel that you see before you, but who I truly, truly am. And anyway, so what I did was, there was these fishes, and they all gathered around me like this. And I want you to think that these are all the fishes, and they're all facing me. So they were all here. And I stood by them and I said, hello. And they stood there, and I put my hand in the water because I was like, oh, well, you're observing me. Well, come, let me touch you. But they wouldn't. I'd put my hand in the water. They would back up for a second, and then I'd take my hand out, and then they'd just come back in the same place, and they'd just sit there and watch. And then my husband, I was just like, babe, check this out. And he's just like, well, go over there then. So I moved. I moved over here. And what did the fishes do? They followed me. They went over here now. And I just had a team of fish, just sitting, just chilling. And we were just like, oh. And what I did realize, though, was when I would open myself up to my consciousness at that point in my life, when I was still only 15%, I found that when I was at this level, I was very cynical. That is something you can expect. Like, I mean, I literally looked at the world, and I was seeing the ethereal, the way the makeup of this world is. I was seeing the patterns behind, literally the pixels, the visualization, seeing the pod. The clouds were their computer pixelized form. They weren't these nice soft wispy things. Everything was just very, very clear as to what my reality was, what this world is all about, and exactly what we're all here for, and so forth. I was very much so within myself and my element. And of course, speaking to nature as well. So, bloody, oh, I have never had a better yoga session in my life after that too, because we were in the park and so forth, and I'm like, I feel like doing yoga, and my body could do such amazing things, and I'm like, holy shit. But anyway, so that was my experience anyway. Okay, so let's have a look here. Jessica, you've asked, does substances show up in drugs tests? Yes, if they are testing for that specifically. Johan, you said, how to make difference between indica and sativa? Drug usage is equal to forfeit this game of life. So Johan, sorry, I know I kind of went through. I hope you're still with me here, my dear. How to make the difference between indica and sativa is literally you can tell by their leaves. Now, if you are purchasing this from somewhere else, it will be a little bit difficult to actually physically look at it. You're going to have to try it first. But the best way to tell is by the leaves of the, I'm not holding you, Shayla. Sorry, you're going to see my cat's tail. Is by the leaves. Indica have very, very large fat leaves, and sativa have very skinny leaves. Okay, so that's how you tell the difference. Now, Johanny says, drug usage is equal to the forfeit this game of life. Well, not necessarily. I think that's good advice for individuals who are very low frequency, because I know you're speaking based on what Judy from Quartz Crystal has mentioned, and she's absolutely right. If you are a lower frequency individual and you are having drugs like heroin, like cocaine, like alcohol, those kinds of drugs, you will die. You will perish in this harvest period, right? You're not gonna get above frequency level 5 if you are taking those substances. So it is like a forfeit of the game. However, if you are taking cannabis, psilocybin mushrooms, and you are not abusing it, but you are taking it for a purpose of self-discovery, balance, and love and light, then you're pretty much good to go. Okay, you really are pretty much good to go. This is definitely going to open you up quite a lot. But anywho, so that is the psilocybin mushrooms as well. Okay, I'm going to let everybody just do your own little research on, like, you know, in terms of dosages and times and how long it takes to kick in and everything like that. I am very, very high frequency, so I have a lot when I do, and I don't do it very often. I do it when I need some self-discovery, basically. But anyway, let's go through our last one. The last substance that I am going to mention for this evening before we proceed on is going to be DMT. That is the shortened version. It is dimethyl, blah, 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 blah. I am not good with medical names or technical names, but it is, I'm just going to call it DMT, also known as the spirit molecule. If there is a documentary on it, and I'm going to post that documentary. It's just like a teaser. It's nothing that goes in super, super deep or anything, but just giving you a little bit of experience about what DMT actually is. But DMT is a chemical compound that is already found within your body, right? It's found in every single living thing has the DMT chemical within it. So you have it in your system right now. And so does my cat, so does the plant, so does it all has it in there already. Now, what do you want to do with DMT? Now, sorry, some plants and some things naturally have a higher concentration of DMT in them than others. But literally they call it the spirit molecule because it literally is the ethereal. It is the ethereal. When you consume a lot of DMT, whether that be with smoking it, vaping it, or having it in tea, or having it in powder form, or whatever form that you choose to have it in, it literally forces you into the ethereal dimension, forces you into it, okay? People use, oh, sorry, my cat is in the way here. It is used for, people use DMT when they are going through psychological pain that they are trying to get over, or deep-seated pain that they are trying to get over. Because if I say it forces you into the ethereal, that's exactly what I mean. You will sit down, and within literally 15 minutes after having DMT, your spirit will be taken. Your consciousness will be taken out of your body, and you will go into the ethereal dimension. Now, while you are there, you are going to experience a lot of things, because it's really the back end to this material world. It is where all the magic actually happens. When you speak your name, when you speak as a master spellcaster, when I speak, my command is not going in this physical world, it is going to the ethereal. So that is where magic physically does happen. So when you go in there and you actually see it for the first time and you really experience all of these things, it can be absolutely mind-blowing. Now, what happens though is it really connects you, it connects you to where your heart is. So same kind of thing with the mushrooms there. If you take DMT and you're in a bad place, it's not meant for recreational kind of use in that sense. You know, it is meant for psychological healing, to connect you back to your heart, right? So if I were to take, I personally, I've never done DMT. I haven't. I've never done it. I'm very open to it, but I'm pretty cool right now, so I'm fine. But anyway, because again, I do so much inner work. I know like there's nothing I'm really trying to find, and I go to the ethereal all the time. So I'm like, why waste the time? I'll just close my eyes and go there now. But anyway, it is unlike shrooms that can be used as recreational purposes, and cannabis, of course, can be used in a recreational purpose too. DMT is not really that kind of thing. If you're looking to go to the ethereal to have fun, it's a wonderful, amazing experience when you are physically visualizing it. It can be really, really cool. However, you're going to meet people there. There's other beings in this environment. And if you're there kind of just like lost, dazed, and confused, kind of you're like, yeah, I'm looking for a good time, you may stumble in on some stuff. And that may cause you a lot of fear, right? Because you have to sit down and really kind of think, what am I trying to achieve by having this substance? What am I actually trying to achieve here by having this? And so you are going on a journey. So DMT is a wonderful, a very, very wonderful substance to have if you are looking for enlightenment. However, it's a good substance to have when you are clearing yourself out of negative energy. It is not a good substance to have if you are full of negative energy and you're trying to hide from your problems. Because all it's going to do is bring your problems to the forefront, right? It is not for suppression. It is for literally enlightenment, moving on, acceptance, and experiencing what true reality is, which is the ethereal. That is where truth is. That is where the truth of all your energy is. This reality that we are in right now, this material reality, that is just the desktop image. That is just what you see with your eyes to make things pretty. But everything is created from the ethereal plane. Okay, so when you take DMT, you're simply just going to the ethereal as well, right? Let's see, let's check out some comments. Joham, you said, is coffee could be considered as a drug? Yes, you can say that coffee can be used as a drug. Many people do use coffee as a drug, but it's the same kind of thing with anything. I would say I don't have more than 1 cup of coffee in a day. I like coffee, I do, but I'm not exactly there. If you're Canadian, you may know the term Tim Hortons. If not, it's the equivalent of like the US's Krispy Kremes or Coffee Time or something. And if you are sitting there, or if you're like Starbucks where you're having like 5 coffees a day, that's abuse. That is abuse. And that is going to cause you negative harm and negative effects. But if you're simply just, I'm good, then hey, you're good then. Have a cup of coffee. Susan, we'll carry on tomorrow. It's nearly 3 a.m. Oh, please do. I would have expected you to go and sleep much earlier, but thank you so much for watching. So anywho, this is DMT. DMT. So I would definitely recommend having a look into that. But again, cannabis, mushrooms, DMT, none of these are substances that you can overdose on. You physically cannot overdose on any of them. It is perfectly safe to use, okay? It is, don't get me wrong, you can have some bad experiences, but it is safe. There is nothing that is going to be harmful within your body, or it is not going to harm your system to the point where there is irreparable damage or anything. Cannabis, for example, you cannot overdose on it, and it will not have any negative side effects besides making you feel very sick, because that's its way of going, you've had enough, stop it. So if you're not going to stop, I'm going to stop you. And when you've had enough, you've had enough. And you physically can't go on. But you're not harmed though, right? Besides just having a night where you're just going to be really, really dizzy and feel a little bit sick. But really, time just gets that going and you're absolutely fine. No one has ever overdosed on cannabis. There's no reports of anybody ever overdosing on cannabis. And anybody that says, but wait, there is this person here that they overdosed, they lie. They lie. It's not possible to overdose on cannabis. Perhaps if you had cannabis and you mixed it with a bunch of alcohol and then you overdosed on all of that stuff, sure, but that's not the cannabis's fault. That's just all of the crap all the other shit you put in your body. Mushrooms. You cannot overdose on mushrooms. The worst that will happen is you will get really sick and you will have a very, very, very spinning head and you'll see a lot of stuff. But physically, your body will not be harmed. You will just have to go through a period of where you just got to wait it out, right? But you don't need to go to the hospital. You don't need to go get your stomach pumped. You don't need to do anything like that. You are absolutely fine. DMT as well. It works so fast and it is so rapid, just shooting you out of your body. You can't even take enough to overdose before it's already kicked in and shot you off into the ethereal. So you cannot overdose on it. And even if you could, even if you literally could sit there and ingest or consume more DMT than you are supposed to, same thing. It just means that you're going to be in the ethereal for a lot longer. And it may be a very, very, very intense vision that you have, or experience that you have, but you can't overdose. You really can't overdose, because again, all of these things, besides the psilocybin, but all of these things are naturally found in your body. Okay, so if you can't overdose on it, you're going to be fine. Alcohol you can overdose on. Drugs you can overdose on. Prescription drugs you can overdose on. Supplements you can overdose on. These things that you can overdose on are things you don't want to put in your body. Okay? Keep it natural, keep it clean. Alrighty. So let's have a look. So Johan, you say, back in days, I was using cannabis for creativity purposes in music. That's wonderful. Yes, it opens you up. It relaxes your body. You're just like, yeah, definitely, definitely. I was using it to get over 10. Coffee by day. Okay. Does LSD invite spirits similar to alcohol? Let's see. LSD and spirits. No, LSD will incite manic depression, but not spirits. Sorry, it's the most harmful because it causes you to believe you are more than you are in a sense, and then you crash and you go back into your own reality. And then and then when you slip into your own reality, you're just like, wow, this is horrible. And so then you go into a depressive mode. So LSD doesn't invite spirits, but it does make you feel like shit. Yeah, if you're abusing it especially. All right. Any other kind of bits and pieces? But so far, that is what I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed learning over the last couple of hours here about all of these. Oh, by the way, ayahuasca normally is consumed by brewing the, DMT is normally consumed by brewing the ayahuasca bark, the ayahuasca tree, and they use it in the bark to blend, to brew some teas and make it into powder and all that kind of stuff. But I will be putting the link to the video for the DMT spirit molecule documentary, and just have a look. It's really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. Okay, Johan, you said, how can you optimize OD, do something that you cannot be felled by police, that you can use cannabis? Okay, so I'm gonna try to get that question in here. And I'm gonna sit down now because I think I'm finished being up there. So let's put this down here. So we've got, how can you optimize the OD, do something that you cannot be felled by police, that you use cannabis? I'm sorry, my sweet. Do you mind, even if you wanted to type that in French, and I can use a translator, but I'm not quite sure what you mean by that comment. So if you don't mind doing it again. So Hazel, you say, sorry, I'm nervous because I have used it often, not abused, just recreational. No, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I would not use it though. It is a chemical. Sorry for the LSD. It's a chemical that is not naturally found in your body. So I would stop using it and use, if you want to use something for recreational, just like woo kind of stuff, then I'd totally say grab some shrooms or grab some really great weed, and you'll have a really nice nice cannabis, a really good time on that one. Okay, I still want to. So Johan, I'm gonna kind of guess here at your comment that you were kind of like, how can you optimize something that you cannot be felled by but police? No, sorry, I can't do it. I'm like, let me know exactly what you were kind of going at with that one. But anywho's, if you have any more comments in regards to this, then by all means. Otherwise, I am ready for a little mini read. We can go through a few questions if you have any just general questions that you were curious about and that you'd like to know about. Now is the time to post your comment, or even if you just wanted to talk a little bit more based on what we've been discussing this evening, that is absolutely fine as well. So let's see what we got. Oh, Hazel, I actually plan to use it tonight, not anymore. Oh, bless you. Well, I could say that's a good thing to do. Hazel, how do you feel about that? Oh, your spirit is definitely very excited that you're not going to be using it, because she was very pleased. She says, I am fantastically excited that you are not using this anymore, because she hates it apparently, which I don't blame her, because it's not very good. Okay, here we go. Thank you ever so much, Johanna. I'm going to French to English. Let's get this translated. Okay, how to eliminate cannabis quickly so as not to be detected by the police after use. Oh, that makes more sense. Personally, I don't give a rat's ass about the police. Again, this goes back into my values as a true anarchist, as a true member of humanity, you know. So I can't actually give you oh, here's some tricks, like, you know, take this, put some mint leaves underneath your chin or something like that to eradicate the smell. I can't give you any of that because I wouldn't know, because I've never tried to hide myself. I've never ever thought the use of cannabis was wrong, because it isn't. And if anybody ever wanted to say, hey, Kulipup, do you use it? I'd be like, yes, I do. If a police officer came up to me and said, do you have any cannabis on you? If I did, which I don't really walk around with it, so I guess I wouldn't. But if they were just like, oh, I smell it on you, I'd just be like, so? I smell donuts on you. Sorry, anybody who's a police officer, or if you are associated or connected with police officers and you find my my comments in distaste or disrespectful or so forth, then frankly, my dear, you are not going to like me at all. Because at the end of the day, police officers are order followers. They are not here to uphold justice, peace, truth, serenity, or anything like that. They are here to simply enforce the will of the 1%. They are here to enforce laws, the laws of man, that are completely and utterly nonsensical and irrelevant, and a grave misdeed against your natural rights, against natural law. It is to enforce government. And if you have watched any of my videos in the very beginning of my YouTube channel, you'll say one of the rules that you should be living by is to not be governing, to not be governed. Do not let yourself be governed by anybody else, and you do not govern anybody else. The only person that can govern you is you, right? So that was my little rant there. Sorry. So I wish I could give you something more besides just walk in your truth and walk in your path and don't give a rat's ass about what anybody says, as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're physically not causing harm to another individual. You know, you're not stealing their property, you're not causing them physical harm, then really it doesn't matter what you do with your body. or what you want to do with yourself, because you are your own being. Only you can govern you. So yeah. Okay. So let's have a look here. We've got for not detecting positive by the police. My advice for not being detected by the police is to simply not be around the police. I know that sounds just like, Kulipup, what are you going to do? I will tell you this. I don't get stopped, and I will never get stopped, and I will so forth, because my energy is so high that I repel anything that would do that. I tell the universe that that's not what I want to see. Or basically, I do not have it in my thoughts, so it does not come to me. That is a very, very real thing, peoples. Very, very real thing. If you do not want to be approached by the police or harassed by the police or have any of your rights impeded on you, simply walk in your truth, walk in your righteous path that is righteous to you and only you, and nobody but you, and literally just tell the universe through your thoughts and through your heart that that is not what you want, by telling it what you do want, which is only love, positivity, and wondrous experiences and things. And that's all the universe will give you. So nope, probably not really good on that one. Hazel, sorry, Hazel, you said I'm going the natural version of that instead. Hopefully Hazel Atenganoa is happy now. Okay, Hazel, are you happy with just Hazel using some cannabis? She says yes. Oh my God, yes, sativa. So yes, go with some sativa if you can, and you're gonna find that your journey will no doubt have a little bit of a kickstart too, and it's gonna be really nice. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look here. Oh, you're very welcome, Johan. I wish I could give you a more in-depth, detailed answer of like trickery that you can do, but I just literally don't care about the police. I literally do not care about establishments, because I refuse to be governed by anybody but myself. I walk in love and light. Screw everybody else. Okay, so, oh, you were referring to shrooms. Excellent, yes, excellent. What about shrooms, Hazel? She says, I'd prefer she does the cannabis, but shrooms are not bad. No more than 2.6 grams for yourself, my dear. That is what your spirit is telling me right now. Alrighty. Hopefully the FBI isn't watching. I really don't care. I really, really could care absolutely less. And the thing is, I don't live in any fear. When people say things like the cops, oh, what are you going to do if these people come get you or anything? I'm like, they won't. They simply won't. I refuse to write that into my life. I refuse to have my fears attract that to me. It won't happen. And the thing is, I know many people will be like, well, you never know what happens. Well, I'm like, no, I do know what happens. And it's not going to happen. So it's not something I need to worry about. Simply not something I need to worry about. So, okay, you say, so basically we just have to raise our vibrations high enough to not attract negative people like the police. Exactly. And you also have to change your mindset. You have to, like when I say you need to become an anarchist, I really, really mean it. You need to start living and walking in your own truth. That is when you start following your heart, that is when you attract, with the law of attraction, what it is that you want. Okay? And if you have a higher vibrational frequency, when you have enough power behind you, it means that you attract what you want more solidly, faster, and easier too. My vibrational frequency is like freaking super, super high. So I literally only attract positivity. I only attract love. And I only attract good things as long as I am thinking of only good things. Because it's like I'm like the biggest, most powerful magnet of love. So unless I literally focus my attention on something negative, I only attract love. And that's the beauty of raising your frequency. And that's why I tell people, raise your frequency, raise this thing, because you'll find that everything like literally starts working out and you live how you want to live and you don't have to be governed by anybody. 2.7 grams as well, my dear. That is for you, Hazel. So for Heralden, 2.7 grams as well. That should be good. Yep, that's like more than enough for you guys at the moment, so don't worry about it. I got to take like 7.5 grams. It's crazy. Just to, because again, with the shrooms, it propels you. It increases your vibrational frequency at such an extensive rate. But my vibrational frequency is already so high, so I have to take like really, really high amounts just to even break through to the astral, man. It's like shit. Okay. Okay. So Johan, you said, I have a project to go back to, music in my thoughts, to do what I love, restart some project as web radio or web TV. Oh, let's have a look here. Okay, so let's hold this up nicely. Oops, sorry. Okay, let's connect to Johan here. We're connected? Yes, we are. All right, so Johan, is it going to be beneficial for Johan to follow his passion right now, which will be music? Oh, you see how fast that started off there, Johan? Yes. Would a radio web TV show also be good? Not so much. No. So not a web show or a radio web TV show. Johan wants to spread his knowledge and his truth. To an extent. Well, yes. Yes. So the best way to do this, will this be through his music? And by giving your personal opinions through your own mediums, like through interviews, articles, those kind of things, but not necessarily focusing on a radio show specifically. So more so, you make your music, you spread your music, you spread your love, you follow your passion. And whilst you are doing this, that is when you are also giving your opinion and you're telling people about your experiences as you're going on. So yeah, so that would be a wonderful thing to do. Wonderful thing to do. And that's another thing that I want to definitely go through with people when it comes to following your heart, following who you are and what you want to do, and following the call of your spirit. The more you do this, the more you do what you want to do, the higher your frequency raises, and you'll find that things work out very, very well, because you're letting the universe organize based on positivity for you. Okay, so only good things happen. It's only when we keep going against the bloody flow of the universe, where we keep going to jobs that we don't want to. We work in jobs we don't want to work in. We speak to people we don't want to speak to. You know, it's when we keep doing things like this that we find that we have to work so much harder to remain positive. We have to work so much harder just to get through life, and it's just hard. But it's like, well, stop swimming upstream, turn around and swim downstream in life, and you'll find that it's so much more wonderful. I know, Hazel, I know, it's a freaking lot. Like, shit. I wish I could be cool with 2.7, but I can't. Okay. Okay, you have asked, I'm wondering if starting a digital marketing agency is the right path for me, or is there something that is better for me? Or do I start that and then will I go into something else? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so let's get this going. Okay, so you've got a couple of questions there, so we're just going to go one at a time. So is it good for OK to start a digital marketing agency? Is that the right path for OK? Not really. It's not a definite no, but it is more no than it is yes, or more no than it is kind of sort of. It's like kind of sort of maybe not. Okay, so is there something better for Orkay to do? Yes, of course. Okay. Or do I start that and then we'll go into something else? Will Orkay start that and then go into something else? Is that the best option? No, starting just something else off the bat. Okay, let's see what we need to actually do for you then. Like what's the best place that you can go here, okay? So, okay, you are going to be best off choosing a form of employment or even career, or going out on your own, where you are able to express yourself creatively. Like, I mean, express yourself. I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to go to a digital marketing agency and I'm going to express my creativity because I get to create cool ads for people, for companies to sell their bullshit, basically. Because marketing, all marketing is lying. It's a lot of it is lying, right? Or getting the word out there for sure. But I guess if you're marketing products, a lot of it is just lies. But anyway, so you need to do whatever you do, you need to be expressing your creativity. So if you are a musician, if you sing, if you dance, if you paint, if you like art, if you like photography or whatever it is, whatever your passion is, you need to be pursuing that. You need to be pursuing your talent right now, because that's what's going to make you the most success. That's what's going to make you the most wealth and gain and so forth as well. So, okay, follow what you like in your heart and just do it. Now, if you have to start off small and kind of work your way up, like, you know, you're just kind of doing something as like a side kind of business kind of thing. So explore it that way. You know, keep doing whatever you're doing right now, but then just explore, hey, in my spare time, I'm just going to express myself creatively. I'm going to throw it out there to the world, and I'm going to see what kind of response I get back. Okay? So that's what I'm going to suggest that you do, my sweet. Okay. Johan, you said, am I high enough to test mushrooms and DMT? Okay. Is Johan's physical frequency high enough to test these things without having a really negative trip? Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're fine. Definitely. Just make sure before you are going through it, just make sure you don't have any negativity on your mind though, okay? So if you're feeling really down and depressed one day, that is not a good day to do DMT or shrooms, okay? Unless you are like, oh, I know I'm depressed and I'm actively trying to work through something and we're going to do something good. That's when you can kind of like have a little bit and work your way up. But definitely if you're just like, the world sucks, man, and I hate everything, don't have any of that. Wait until you are like, you know what, I'm in a good place. That's when you want to do it. Okay. Okay, Johan, you've also said music as producing or DJ. So I think it will take some time to live from music. Yes. Okay. So if Johan was to produce music or become a DJ, is that a good option for him? Yeah. Okay. Will it take him a long time to start earning money from that? That is more of a long time. Will it take him a long time? Kind of. It's a 50-50. Well, no, it's more so, it's closer to yes than it is no, or to 50-50. So how long would we be looking at? It would take you 3 years to start earning a decent living off of making music. So it's going to be primarily very, very good to do it on the side as well. So if you were to do this on the side, start building up your followers, the people who appreciate your music and what you're doing. And that's what you're going to want to do. Now, if Johan were to do this full time, though, full time and just be like, you know what, screw it. I love music. I love my passion. That's what I want to do. Will he then take a long time to earn a decent living off of it? No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't take you. It would still take you a little bit of time, but it wouldn't take you as much time. How long are we looking at? So if you were to really put in like a lot of effort and just be like, you know what, I'm going to live minimalistically. I'm going to do what I can, but you know, my main focus is my music. Then you would be earning a decent living from that within a year and a half. Okay, so a year and a half. So with that, Johanna, it's just about where you are putting your energy. The more energy you put into your music, the faster you will get a payout or pay off for it. If you're just can't kind of keep it just like a few hours a week, then expect it to take a lot longer. Okay, so that's what we got there. Oh, Hazel, don't. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was like, don't worry about asking questions, but that's right. Hazel was just like, nah, stop it. Okay. Renee or Heraldin, you've asked, has Heraldin been struggling to reach me? Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a look here. Heraldin, actually, let me just talk to you. Have you been struggling to reach yourself? Yes, he says, I have. She is being stubborn and closed-minded. He says, you need to let your thoughts be open. You're blocking his essence because you are scared that he is your subconscious. So you're not talking to him as much because you're physically going, I don't want, you know, like you don't want to talk to any negative crap or anything like that, but you're kind of blocking him out too. Don't worry. I'm going to say this. I did the same thing when I was where you guys are. I did the same thing. I literally didn't speak to any spirits for like, how long was it? For approximately 2.5 to 3 weeks. I was literally dead silent because I'm like, screw you, entity. And I would not I wouldn't speak to anybody until I was dead certain and confirmed that that thing was gone. And when it was gone, I was just like, I missed you so much. And they're like, we could have talked to you ages ago. You just chose not to talk to us because it actually died off a long time ago. But I was just like, no, I won't talk to anybody because I was so like there. So yes, he's still there. Okay. Okay. Yes, I know it's lying. You're right. Well, yeah, marketing is just lying. I used to do marketing and, you know, amongst other things, and I could never go back to that again because I'm like, I refuse to lie to people. Refuse. Hazel, you do have homework to do, sweetheart. You do. Okay, how do I know my talent? Oh, that's easy. You just simply do what makes you feel happy. Stop living in your head and just go with the flow. Live with your heart. If it feels good, do it. You know, there's plenty of times that I will just burst out into song and I'll just sing just because my heart feels good when I do it. I feel in love when I'm singing. So that's one of my talents is I can sing. You know, art is also one and so forth. But however, like literally follow what you like to do. Now, if you don't know what you like to do, and if you're just like, all I can ever think of doing is simply watching TV, then that means you got to look inside yourself. You got to reconnect yourself, with your heart, so that you can discover what it is you like to do, right? But whatever that may be, you need to do it so that you can express yourself, my sweet. Okay. Maureen, do I have an additional past life that I was born in the 1800s? Does Maureen have any additional past lives where she, or Onoloka, you're here still, aren't you? Okay, wonderful. Hi. Do you have, besides the ones that we told Maureen about, is there any other lives that you were alive or that you were playing out in the 1800s? Any other ones? No. Well, it's like, you seem like, well, okay, gotcha. So you're saying that you are technically playing out the life, but it's the multiple lives within that life that you're playing. So yes, okay. No, what you have is what you have. That is your lifetime within the 1800s. However, you just keep replaying that life over and over and over again. So you don't actually have any other new names or new characters within the 1800s, my sweet. Okay. Okay, you say the only thing I can think of is when I was younger, I was passionate about fashion design. Other than that, I cannot think or of having any other artistic or creative talent. Does Orke have any other talents that are hidden besides fashion design or anything like that? You know what, Orke, let me connect to your spirit real quick, because I think that's easier for me right now than doing my deduction process with asking questions. So Orke spirit, come here for me, please, a second, my dear. Orke. Oh, you're welcome, sweetheart. It's lovely to have you. So Orke here doesn't know about the talents that you possess. What other talents do you have? Okay, so what would you suggest? What is an area that what is a career or a path that you would want to take? And please as well be aware of the coming periods that we are going to be going through. Okay. But what should she do right now in terms of career, though? Oh, okay. So, okay, your spirit, I was just speaking to your spirit, and your spirit is telling me, well, two kind of scenarios, right? Scenario one is where you're still in the material world here. You're still focusing on, you know, paying the mortgage or paying the rent and getting money and so forth like that. If you are doing that, your spirit is saying you are very, very good visually in putting things together and making things look very, very visually nice. So instead of marketing, possibly go for interior design. Something where you can be creative, you can express yourself creatively, you can organize and put things together, but you're not exactly lying to anybody. You know, you're just simply going, oh, I can put these nice things together. However, my dear, okay, what you should be doing is, if you are seeking spiritual enlightenment, you are a healer, though. You are a healer. You work with your energies, and you can manipulate energies as well in order to heal people's hearts. Now, you heal by, how do you heal, my sweet? Oh, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Are you distant, or are you a close range? Oh, you are a distant healer, okay. So you do distance healing and spell casting like I do as well. So technically that is your purpose. The more you can wake up, gain enlightenment, and start fulfilling your purpose by doing distance healing, you are going to get the most fulfillment that way. But in the meantime, some interior design perhaps. Okay. So Jen, you've asked, do I have a hormonal imbalance that's causing my lack of energy and weight gain? Let's have a look. Let's connect to Jen. We connected to Jen? Yep. So does Jen have a hormonal imbalance that's causing lack of energy and weight gain? Yeah, you do. Now, is that hormonal imbalance triggered by anything that she cannot actually solve herself? Nope. So you are in complete control of this one, Jen, my dear. You are in complete control. If Jen does simply just change her diet, start eating clean, as clean as she can be, of course, you know, doing the vegetarian or veganism, and living in love and living in light, doing that inner work, you know, clearing out that negativity and everything. If Jen does this, you know, meditation, some yoga, will she find that her hormonal imbalance will be then balanced? Her hormones will become more balanced? Will her hormones be, yep, the hormones will become more balanced. Will she have an increase in energy? Yep, you're going to have an increase in energy. Will Jen's weight stabilize to the healthy weight for her body? Yep, that's going to happen too. So Jen, my love, if you do not like living with a hormonal imbalance, if you do not like living with lack of energy, and if you do not like living with extra weight, then simply just change your diet. Change your diet and really start looking at taking care of your body on a more serious note. And don't make any excuses. You know, just don't make any excuses, just because we tend to do that. We tend to make the excuses of like, oh, well, you know, all my family's eating meats, or, you know, like the kids won't eat the vegetables, you know, or my husband won't eat the vegetables, or, you know, I just don't have the time to do yoga or meditation and everything. Like, if you keep giving yourself excuses, then you're never going to achieve it, right? So no excuses, just take care of your body and you will find that this will go away. Okay. Or okay, you say, or background film work. I did that before. Is background film work okay for okay as well? Yeah, background film work. That'll work. Good stuff. Harolden, will we find DMT soon? We've been searching for over a year. Will Harolden find DMT anytime soon? No, it's hard. This is it. You know, America, holy shit. You guys, I swear, sorry, I swear, they class schedule 1 everything that is actually of use to you so that you cannot get it. I would still check out YouTube and find alternate ways of making DMT because it is found naturally in all substances. The ayahuasca bark that you get like from Peru or other places like that, or you can get the bark. I know you can just order it online in some places, but America's just like freaking like Jesus me, you know, like shoot. So not anytime soon, I'm sorry, but I could definitely say look at alternatives because I know there's different kind of barks that may have a higher concentration, maybe not as much as ayahuasca, but you can definitely go and have a look and see what you can find. Okay, John, you said, I have some reading that some other past lives or actual parallel lives are related to music and some celebrity who structured the music in the past or present. Okay, does Johan have any past lives where he is a musician? Yes, I'm not surprised. Was Johan ever a famous musician in any of his past lives? No. Did Johan ever work with any famous celebrities in a past life or even in this life but in an alternate dimension? Yeah. There you go. However, what I'd want you to do is I want you to focus on what is relevant now. Your past lives are lessons that you need to learn from. They are there so that you can learn your lessons, so you can find the pattern and literally pick it out and just be like, okay, I have a history of doing this behavior. I'm going to make sure I don't do that in this one. So I don't want you to be like, yeah, in an alternate dimension in a past life I worked with Shakira or something like that, because that's not right now. So I want you to focus on the now so that you can put your next foot forward in this now moment as well. Because an alternate dimension or a past life, it means nothing if you do not know how to wield the energies of the universe. So stay in your now moment so that you can learn how to wield your energies, and then you can have a look at those kinds of things. But you look at whatever the hell you want really, but that's just my recommendation anyway. Okay. Hazel, my love, will you allow Hazel to answer one more question? Hazel, she says yes, but it better be a good question. Better be a good one. Maureen, you've asked, am I going to connect with the pendulum and when? Is Maureen going to, oh no, loca, like, what's wrong with your pendulum? Why isn't it working? Okay, so Maureen, your problem right now with your pendulum or Orloka is telling me that you're too distracted and you are forcing the answers, and you're forcing the answers to come through, so you're getting inaccuracy in. So for example, if you're asking a very personal question that you have and you're vested in the outcome. So if you were to ask, because like I'm asking these questions for you, but I have no vested interest in the outcome. Whether it's yes, no, maybe so, perhaps, or whatever, I don't really care what the answer is. I just want to know the truth. So it's going to give me the truth because I'm totally unbiased. So when you are asking a question, you just have to be totally just like super open to it. So if you're asking personal questions like, should I do this for my business right now? But in your mind, you're just like, I really want to do this for my business right now. Your energy will just say yes. Your energy will just be like, yes, 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 yes. So you're going to get a yes on your pendulum. So you really have to, if you're going to work with the pendulum, you've got to make sure that you're like neutral on the answer so that you can get the right answer. So I hope that works. But you can actually do that immediately as soon as you change your mindset. So Johan, you've said, I have a lot of trouble with coworkers in the past. Now it's gone. Maybe to raising the frequency. Well, let's see. Is Johan's raise in frequency responsible for his lack of friction with coworkers? Yeah. You're changing your perspective. When you go into the next dimension upwards, you'll find that lower dimensional beings or lower dimensional people will literally not be around you, because you are literally telling the universe that, no, I am of this frequency. So you are going to match my frequency with my world. So that means people who are on a negative frequency will just seem to miss you. And by the way, I know my hands are really filthy because I've been holding up this, by the way, just for those of you who are just like, why are her hands purple? So yes, there we go. Yes, okay, my love, you are definitely a distance healer and a spellcaster. And I tell you, being a master spellcaster, it's pretty awesome. Because yeah, I work with everything in the ethereal. Like I do. I can heal people from a distance. I can tell people what to do. I can reprogram people and they don't even know it. Although I don't want, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not reprogramming anybody or anything like that. Or I can program people's thought processes to think the way I want to think, or, like, you will not do this specific thing, and you'll find that you won't do it unless you really, really are strong-willed enough to break the spell. But anyway, so yeah, you can do what I do. Develop it. It's wonderful. Okay, so Johan, you've asked, I have some readings that I already saved myself by telekinesis from deadly situations in the past. Johan, is Johan telekinetic? Yes, you are. Okay. Did his telekinesis save him in the past? Or in a past life or deadly situations? No. Was it his spirit? Yes. So it wasn't your telekinesis that saved you from these. It was your spirit, but your spirit has the ability to manipulate time and space on an instantaneous basis. So what happened was, instead, let's say you were going to the situation. It was all being organized by the universe. Your spirit, because you raise frequency and because your spirit's there, was able to, right at the last moment, switch it so that you're not in harm's way, right? Trust me, there's many a times where I have been walking and where it's like I could have tripped, hit my knee, broken something, spilled coffee everywhere, and so forth. But whatever I was about to trip on, I missed it by like this much. And how many times did I myself or my spirit go, "You're welcome," and I'm like, "Thank you," because I know I was klutzy. Oh. Okay, so let's have a look at, okay, you say, what's a distance healer? Is that something like Reiki? No, not quite. A distance healer is an individual who is able to tap in and manipulate your energy from a distance. So, for example, when I'm doing distance healing, so I ethereal cord cutting, so any negative feeds that are to you, I can sever them with my energy by giving your energy a command. Okay, spell casting. I can give the energy a command to tell it to do what I want it to do. So that's basically what it is. Or for example, if I connect to you, I can feel your body. So if I go okay right now, and I'm gonna connect to you right now, my sweet. Your heartbeat is going boom, 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 boom. That's what I'm hearing from you right now. Now, if I wanted to go further into that, I can feel your heartbeat and I can hear your heartbeat. I can then go through the rest of your body. I can then go, well, let me check out your cells. Let me check out what's going on in your brain. Let me check out what's going on in your arms or your tissues. And when I find it, then I'm able to go, turn it around. I wish you to be well. It is my will that, with my spell casting, I tell your energy what I want it to do at that point, because I can feel it. I can feel it. So not quite like Reiki. Reiki is more so, for one, Reiki, and for anybody out there who is like, I'm a certified Reiki master and all that kind of stuff, which is awesome. But Reiki, in terms of what you are actually capable of doing, Reiki is like preschool, okay? Reiki is like your kid's giving you a massage for your birthday versus going to an actual chiropractor or masseuse who's been doing this for a while, right? So Reiki is a very low, like a lower frequency form of healing. It works for lower frequency individuals, but you're so much more powerful than that. Like, you're so much more powerful than that. But Reiki is more in the physical, where you're physically feeling with your physical energy the blockages and so forth, and you're pushing it away and healing as you're going in that way. But nah, like you're pretty powerful. Hazel, never mind. Why, Hazel? Oh, okay, you have to find a better question. Okay, fair enough. Jenna, you've asked, is college or further education a distraction or benefit to raising my consciousness? It takes a lot of time and restriction, and it restricts me, but right now I am so. I'll just tell you my own opinion on this as well, but I will keep this up if you want, because I'm not going to lie, like, I only speak truth on this kind of stuff. So whether you want to take it in or not, this is my guidance when it comes to school. Okay. Is school beneficial in any way to raising consciousness and frequency? No. It's just not. Is higher education beneficial in raising consciousness or actually learning to understand yourself and how things really work? Nope. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm not going to hold this up just because my arm is going to hurt. It's not beneficial to your consciousness because school is not meant for that. School is meant for you to go to this institution of whatever you're choosing, to listen to whatever they are saying, and for you to just simply memorize it and regurgitate it back out. That is all school is. School has actually no place in actual learning. You do not learn shit. You memorize shit in school. You memorize a lot of things. Now, you also have to think it's very, very expensive. A lot of people are being taught more by student teachers than they are their professors. And a lot of these professors, and again, anybody who is a teacher or professor in an institution or anything like that, if you get offended by this video, sorry, you don't have to watch this video. That's perfectly fine. This is the male energy, the coldness that comes out from me at times. But I tell you, school does nothing but program you to accept blind authority. That's what it does. It does it when you go to school, they're like, oh, this is the way it is, and there's no other way to do it. You have to do it this way, you have to do it my way, because it's been a tested and tried, proven method that this is the way to go. And to that I say bullshit. Because when you simply go to school to repeat, to memorize and repeat information, you haven't learned anything. You haven't truly understood what it is that you're going there for in the first place. You know, gaining understanding comes from experience. And you only get experience when you start doing. Okay? So however you want to take that. So to answer your question, no, school is not going to expand your consciousness, because it's going to put you in a box. That's all it does. If you say, I want to go to school to simply get a piece of paper, a very expensive piece of paper that takes a lot of time, then go for it if you really, really want to do it. But really, the skills that you need to live a happy, healthy, and a life full of abundance are not skills that you find in school. They are skills that you find when you look inside yourself, when you find your heart, and when you literally live in love and light, and you just do what your heart desires. When you do that, and of course, if your heart does not desire any malfeasance or negativity upon another person. But when you start doing that, when you just start literally walking in the path that feels good, which is in love and light and truth, you learn a lot of shit. And that's when your consciousness expands. And when your consciousness actually expands, that's when you are able to take in so much information. Because people always want to people come to me and they want to hear my advice. They want to hear my words of wisdom. And I did not go to any institution. No. Waste of time. I tried when I was still asleep, and when society told me that you have to go into these institutions because you need this piece of paper. And I was just like, I went in there, and me being the empath I am, I'm like, this is all bullshit. You are not teaching me anything that is truthful. You are not teaching me anything that is beneficial. You are simply teaching me how to memorize something, and you're not even giving a good enough explanation of it. Did you know that well, no, of course you didn't know, but when I was 15, yes, I was 15, I moved to England because I am British, or half British. I moved to England and I started school there. And I was so frustrated because I was this close to literally walking up to my new science teacher and saying, would you like me to teach this class for you because you don't know what you're doing? You know? So you're not going to get anything really good from me when I'm speaking about school or institutions, because you don't realize the learning that you actually get, the understanding, the way to navigate life to get happiness, wealth, abundance, and prosperity. It all comes from when you discover yourself. Okay? When your consciousness expands, you can find patterns and their meanings in this universe and in this world and in this energy so phenomenally quickly. And you're not stuck in a loop of a slower, lower frequency pattern, which is what school keeps you in. It's all a part of the system. All a part of the system. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so Christine, hello, my love. You say, will cannabis help get medication stories for meditation classes? Will cannabis help get meditation stories for meditation classes? Oh gosh. Well, I think it depends on what kind of cannabis you're having. You know, if you're taking some cannabis that is really makes you really giggly and makes you a little bit forgetful, then you're probably not going to have very many stories, because everybody's just going to be giggling and just be like, yay! You'll have a wonderful time. However, if you are taking a cannabis that is like a certain sativa that causes you to have a deep reflection upon yourself, then yeah, you can have some wonderful meditation stories. You can discover so very much when you are open and relaxed, and when you feel good. Oh, you discover so much. So yeah, I think you'd have some wonderful meditation classes and stories. Okay. Okay. Am I getting accurate answers from my pendulum, or am I influencing the answers? Okay, let's have a look. Okay. So is Orke getting accurate answers from the pendulum? Partially. Is Orke influenced at times? Yes, you are. Sometimes you are influenced and other times you're not. So to counter that, you need to do more meditation. You need to do more meditation so you know who is trying to communicate with you and who is around you. Okay? Because when you are aware that a conscious or subconscious entity program is around you trying to influence your pendulum, then you are then able to, as a spellcaster, which you are then able to remove that influence, dissolve it, delete it, whatever, get it away from you. And then you're going to get more accurate answers. Especially, or sorry, and then, well, does Orke influence a lot of the answers with her own energy? No. No. So you're not putting a biased opinion on your energy or anything like that, but the influences would be outside influences through negative entities that are around you. Okay. Maureen, you've asked, did I get my frequency right, or did I force that too? Let's see. Let's see. What is Maureen's physical frequency level? Let's get to Maureen. So I don't know what you've checked for your your physical frequency to be. 8.7. Your physical frequency right now is at 8.7. Your ethereal frequency right now is at 17,892. All right, so that is your physical and ethereal frequencies at the moment, my sweet. Okay. Okay, so you're like, wow, that's awesome. So I can heal people, can heal diseases. Yes, you can. If you want to heal a disease, sorry, I always call it a dis-ease, because people say disease and they automatically think when you have a disease that it is an outside body or outside form of energy that has come in and infiltrated your system. And there's not. A disease is a dis-ease in your cells. Your cells are at dis-ease, and you are reacting. It is a reaction to whatever you are putting in your body or your environment that is there. So if the individual's body is at a dis-ease, yes, you can. You have to focus a little bit more depending on how far along that disease is. So for example, if somebody's got cancer, that's a really far along disease. So you're going to have to focus a lot of your energy, and you're going to have to be higher energy and really know what you're doing in order to get rid of it. Otherwise, you are going to be primarily good with, would we say psychological healing? Yes, psychological healing is going to be really good for your case. So what I mean by psychological healing is if somebody is going through depression, if they are on negative loop thought cycles, you are able to kind of go in there, find their energy, and you can go into their brain and you can snip certain connections that that happen to it. So for example, or you can reprogram their bodies to do something different. So for example, I will tell you how I reprogram, I will go into my own brain and I will snip and reconnect connections and connect some and disconnect some depending on, if I had, when I was going through really bad programming from this game of life, I would go into my brain and sever the connections that were negative programming, right? So that I wouldn't think of these things anymore. I wouldn't experience these things anymore. Physically with my body, I I said this the other night in one of my live reads, and I'll say it again now because it's a good example, because it was a question that was posed. But I don't like any substances inside my body that are of chemical or foreign kind of things. So I don't have prescription drugs or anything like that. I only ever put natural things into my body. So that poses like birth control. What do you do for that? Well, I reprogrammed my body to that anytime I were to have an orgasm, that my womb, the lining of my womb, would actually come off. That way, stopping any pregnancy from happening. Because I'm pretty damn fertile, right? But I'm like, no, Kulipup does not want any more babies. I have done my deeds. I've put my service in when it comes to populating the planet, and I'm not doing any more. So I reprogram my body to respond in a certain way so that I don't get pregnant. So you can do things like that, okay? So that's what you can do. Okay, so wonderful. Jenna, you say it takes a lot of time, but you enjoy it. Hey, if you enjoy school, if you really, really enjoy it, sweetheart, then do what you enjoy. Simple as that. If you are getting something out of it, if you are truly learning something, then do it if it makes you happy. I'm just saying that I think it's expensive, and I think it is a lot of time, and there's other ways you can have enjoyment and you can learn without having to pay out an arm and a leg as well. Oh, hey Zell, wonderful. So you've asked, hopefully this is a good enough question. Should I pick up my violin again? Hey Zell, would you like to pick up the violin again? Not really. Well, why, sweetheart? You don't like the violin? Oh, she says, I love the violin, but I'd rather pick up a pen and practice my cognizance. So just kind of shift your focus. What about when you finished your base enlightenment journey? Oh, Hazel says, when you're finished your base enlightenment journey, she would like me to come see you so we can have our tea party. I totally agree. But ever picking up the violin again? Well, Hazel, do you ever want to pick up the violin again? For fun sometimes, but nothing crazy. I know what you mean, though. I picked up my saxophone again, and I put it right back down because I'm like, I can't be bothered. I got other things to do. But it's wonderful. Okay, Johan, my dear, you have asked, am I following the right path regarding to my source fractal spirit guide? Am I less stressed and anxious for the future or problems? So let's have a look. So Johan, let's get to, you know what, bugger this. Let me get to your guide. Okay. Johan, come to me, my sweet. Oh, bless you. You're so weak. What's up? Oh, you're a bit nervous. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so what would you say of your avatar? Is he on the right path? Was there anything that you would want from him? What you'd like him to do? I can't do that, my sweet. I cannot do that. But what would you like Johan to do? That was my question, sweetheart. Calm yourself. Oh, okay. So Johan, I'm sorry. Your spirit is absolutely wonderful. Is a is a wonderful sweetheart. He's just a little nervous being here with me right now. So he's kind of like, let me find my words. Let me find my words. All right. So like, okay. So give me just a second. Uh, you were on the beginning of the right path here, Johan. You were on the beginning of the the right path. So you're looking down the right direction, but you still do have, although you are less stressed and less anxious than before, but you still have these issues, okay? And they're still, with the raising of the frequency of the earth, they're still plaguing you, because you should be a lot higher in frequency than you are now, as well. So you've still got a lot of work to do on that one. Oh, can I finally get the ability to manipulate time and space like my spirit guide? Yes, of course. That is the whole process of raising frequency, though, my sweet. That is the whole process. So I'm going to advise to you that if you want to come into your abilities to understand it, because I have that ability to manipulate time and space, and what I do is whenever I need something, I simply just say it. I keep it in my mind for 30 seconds and it basically happens, which is really cool. It's just like, oh, isn't that a coincidence? Oh, you know, like I think of somebody, and then that it's like almost like I am summoning them, and then they come into my life, and like, oh, magically, oh, look, I was just in the neighborhood and I have a box of pens. It's like, it's not funny, I needed pens, you know, kind of thing. But anyway, you do have this ability as well, but you do have to raise frequency, and you do have to get all of the negativity out of you, my sweet. Okay, so it is now 11 o'clock. It is time for my bed. I hope I've answered as many questions as I can. I will answer just a couple more. I'm going to see what we've got here, because I know I'm down. Hazel, you've asked, do you homeschool? No, I've given my children the option. I've literally given them the option. I've told them that right now I'm allowing them to choose whether they want to go to school, but if they don't make any effort, then I'm taking them out, because I'm itching. I'm like, I'm going to respect your decision, but don't take anything that they're saying for anything. Like if I feel that the programming is getting too deep, I'm like, you're freaking out of there. I don't give a crap what you want to say. Okay, so let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay. Jenna, you said, I want to live off the land and I couldn't decide to do it or wait to get a bachelor's. Jenna, go live off the land. Go live off the land, sweetheart. You don't have to wait for a piece of paper for this. And I just to let you guys know, and I want you to take this into consideration, like literally the world is going to change really drastically in the next couple of years. And I want you to kind of think, what are the skills that I have that could help me survive through a point or a period where we have no resources? Okay? Nothing but natural resources. So I want you to kind of think, will my degree help me if the power goes out? Will my degree help me if I don't have a supermarket to go to find food? Will my degree, will my piece of paper keep me warm at night? Will my degree, you know, ensure that I have the right survival skills, right? If the answer to those questions is no, then it's really quite useless, because again, the world is going to change. So there's no point going to get a, you know, I'm not going to go to school and just be like, hey, I'm not going to open up a new business right now, because why, if it's going to be destroyed in a couple of years? You know, it's not, a degree is something you go to school for so long and you spend so much money so that you can have a career for life and that you can earn money and be within the system. But what is your degree going to give you if there's no system to be in? So think about that. Think about that. Okay. Let's have a look here. Hazela Tenganoa is sassy. I swear, if you could only hear her in my mind. But I love her to pieces. I love her to pieces. Okay. I will answer this last question. Johan, you've said, do I follow my path alone with more efficiency? Let's have a look here, sweets. Let me connect to your spirit. You're still here, right, Sonny? Oh, thank you. He's still right here. He never left. That's good. Do you work more as an individual or solitarily wise, or do you feel that you would be more beneficial with raising your frequency within community and support? You would be better, Johan, to literally seek to raise your frequency with community and support. Okay, because your spirit is telling me that when you are alone, it takes longer for you to get out of your own head. It takes longer for you to pass through certain barriers without support, right? So if not to say that it can't be done, you can do it, and you have been raising frequency, but you can raise frequency a hell of a lot faster and get where you need to be a hell of a lot faster if you do choose to keep like-minded people around you. Okay, because even so that's the last question I'm going to answer, but I'll just let you guys know that even if you are a part of a group, like, you know, if you're a part of, for example, my Facebook group Frequency 51, if you are there and you are communicating and connecting with people who are raising their frequency on a higher frequency, like, and who are just generally on a higher frequency, and everybody's doing the same thing, it is a chain reaction. As you connect to their energy and as they see you and they connect to you, you all raise each other's frequency together. That's why you have a lot of people who have a lot of my direct focus. So if I talk to you on a regular basis, you know, you're asking me a lot of questions, or you're engaging with me a lot, or I'm engaging with you a lot, you will find that your frequency will raise really, really high, really, really fast. All right. That's why we go from, you know, you'll be like, wow, my physical or my ethereal frequency was like 10,000. And then all of a sudden, if your spirit's been with me for a long time, all of a sudden you'll double check and you'll be like, why the hell is my frequency at like 12 million? And I'll have to be like, yeah, I kind of was hanging out with your spirit for a little bit. And because they were around me, they got my energy, and it's like, poof, all of a sudden you're there. So Johan, if you want to raise your frequency really quickly, then please be around like-minded people. You know, focus your attentions there, and you'll find that you'll just raise really, really quickly. Right? So do it through community, right? And have fun. Okay, well, that is it for me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I hope you enjoyed the reading. For those of you who did, you know, return the energy by making a PayPal donation, oh, it's ever so much appreciated. Thank you so much, because you got to think, this is what I do all day. I don't go out and have a job or anything. So the return in energy is absolutely wonderful, and it's so appreciated, and I love that it's in your hearts to do so. For those of you who didn't make a donation, but you just stayed with me for the last 3 hours listening to me talk and learning something, I thank you so much for doing that, or for popping in and out and still watching and still expanding yourself. Because when you expand yourself, you expand your consciousness. And if you expand your consciousness, you attract others and you do the same for them. And then again, we are, I don't want to say we're like a virus, but we are like the cure to a virus. The virus is negativity. And when we all join together, and when we do this, when we listen to each other's words, we are spreading the cure to the virus. Okay? And we're raising ourselves up. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, please do so. I do have a lot more lessons on there, and they are not 3 hours long. So that's good. If you haven't joined Frequency 51, please do so. I'll put some more links on all my bits and pieces. But again, thank you ever so much. Hazel, 18.7 million. Exactly. It's because I love you and I don't want you to leave my side, because I think you're wonderful. Okay. Anyway. Have a wonderful evening, you guys, or wonderful night. And 11/11, that is when we stop. Bye, sweets.